the jurisdiction of the Conjo Commission.
Well, good morning. Oh, hi, Fenris. Welcome. Why are you here? You were outside. Hi.
Just let me know if
Yeah,
you
it's a
ever
pretty
find
girl.
yourself in a pinch.
Yeah.
I can help you out.
Good morning, one and all. Just give it a second to catch up, because it takes a minute. Sometimes people get mad. I gotta wait.
You're
I
under
wait.
the jurisdiction of the
Waiting.
Conjo Commission.
And waiting. And waiting. And waiting. And waiting. And I have a puppy to keep me company. So hello, guys. Guys, we've had a lot happen in a very short period of time. And I have, like, a lot to talk about, to the point where I actually wrote down some note cards. Because I kind of need them. Or else I'm going to lose focus. So here's kind of where I'm at. Here's, what I'm thinking I'd like to do for today, for this particular stream. Like I said, I have a note card full of little bullet points that I definitely want to cover. But I don't want it to be like a really one-sided, here's my thoughts and just my thoughts kind of thing, right? I want to have a bit more of a discussion. So more than you guys asking me questions, I'm probably going to be asking you guys quite a few questions instead. So that makes the stream slightly unique, because I don't usually do that so much. And I've posted some new rules in the description box that I would like for everybody to check out, just because the Sumeru situation has something pretty unique about it, something that we haven't had happen since version 1.5. So I would like to tread a little bit carefully. So I would very much appreciate if you guys can just take a look at the rules real quick. They're pretty simple, they're pretty straightforward, they're mostly common sense rules. But just heads up, just note that I might not get to everybody's questions if you ask me questions. And what else was it? Please don't spam the chat with your questions. Because I'm gonna be opting to skip some questions just in the interest of trying to cover everything that's on my list. I think that's all my housekeeping for the most part. I'm mostly just gonna be running around doing almost absolutely nothing except whacking trees, because I want wood, because I wanna redo my teapot. And I realized I don't have any wood, so that's probably what I'm gonna do. I also need to do my commissions and stuff, and yeah, so there's that. Yeah, I also think my chat froze on me. Hang on. My chat froze on me. Yes, he did. Oh, wait, I have more housekeeping. Wow, right. Thank you.
If the
Flowcat
Arataki gang stirs up any trouble, I'll drag every last one of them back to apologize.
Welcome to the academia. Okay, so guys, a while back, here's some channel housekeeping. I'm gonna make a little mini video on it later, just so that it's front and center. But a while ago, I realized that there were a lot of videos I wanted to produce, and some of them I could outsource, and some of them I couldn't. But I figured if I could outsource some videos, then that would mean that I could potentially produce more videos every month. But that meant hiring on an editor. And I am very strongly in the camp that I want to pay my editors very fairly, because it's a lot of work to make these kinds of videos. The problem is that, I don't know how many of you know how YouTube ad rev works, but when it comes to... Oh, is it quiet? Hang on a second. One second. Is it really quiet? Really? Oh, I guess, yeah, it kind of is. Oh, you know why? Hang on. Let's see if this helps. Hang on. Let me fix it. Okay. That should help a little. Does that help? Is that better? Yeah. Is that better? I'm giving you guys a okay, yeah, sorry. Sorry, I forgot to open up my level adjuster. I'm sorry. I'm not a very good streamer, but I'm a streamer, sort of, not really. I'm just existing in this space. Did that crab just fall out of the sky? That crab just fell out of the sky. What the hell? Okay, right. All right. Let me give you a little, let me back up a little bit and redo that last bit. Okay. All right. So, I wanted to produce more videos, but I don't have more time. And I've gotten a lot of questions like, well, what would it take for you to go full time on YouTube? And the reality is, basically nothing, because I don't really want to become a full time YouTuber. I really, really, really love my current job, so I don't have any interest in losing it. So that meant that my only real option for producing more videos is to be able to outsource some of the stuff, right? So I've talked to a few people, and then I did some math, and I realized that the videos that I could outsource didn't make enough money from YouTube ad rev to actually justify outsourcing any part of it. Because all of those videos will still require a considerable amount of my time and an editor's time, right? Yeah, we're gonna, I'm gonna get so behind. I'm gonna apologize in advance. There's super chats and, members, welcome. Yeah, so I figured if I set up YouTube memberships, if I got a certain level of memberships, I could use the memberships to fund additional help for the channel, which would be ideal, because then I could pay people fairly, we would get more videos, and everybody's happy, right? So that's my really long spiel on saying, hey, I've activated YouTube members, and if you become a member of this channel, that money there is actually not going to go to me. It's going to be going to... it's going to be going towards hiring on additional help for the channel. So just know that if you become a member, you are directly supporting the channel in that way, and not just by, you know, supporting me financially. So, because I'm actually okay financially, because like I said, I'm not a full-time YouTuber. But I also don't want to run a company, which is basically what running a channel is, when, you know, you can't run your videos at a loss, right? Like, that's just silly. You don't have to make, like, a huge profit, but I don't want to run it at a loss. So, anyway, if you become a member of this channel, you will get access to a Discord channel, which I have been working on, which is still kind of a work in progress. So, just know that. I do intend to open up the Discord at some point to basically everyone, but I figured that since there are 70,000 plus subscribers on this channel, opening up a Discord to 70,000 plus people all at once seemed like a recipe for disaster, so I'm going to start with this. So members, when the Discord does open up, you will be given a private sort of area that will be exclusive to you guys, as well as like a couple other little things. So that's how that's going to work. The instructions for how to get to the Discord and how all that works is in a community post that is visible to members only. So just make sure to check that. And I think that should cover it. Okay. So I think that's it for channel housekeeping, except that we now have like a lot of members. And I'm going to try and just shout out to everyone who just joined, because, geez, thank you. Flowcat, thank you very much. Melfin Jr., thank you for joining. Max Lou, is Lou Zero? Max Lou Zero? I see you've got a question. I'm going to come back to that in a second. I want to touch on members a little bit real quick. Bang Zen, welcome to the Academy. Oh, geez. Kuro, Thomas, Myrna, David, G-Con. And I'm going to screw up that name. Serious. All sorts. Oh my goodness. Guys, thank you so much. I actually think that we have enough to fund, I think we have enough to fund a video this month quite easily, which is good, because there is one coming that I was going to do as an experiment. I'm not actually looking at the screen. Okay, I wanna, oh jeez. I really appreciate everyone who's joining. Just know that I'm gonna have to ignore a lot of the member joining things for now, or else I'm not gonna be able to talk about anything on this stream. So, I will make sure to talk to you all later, hopefully, and I'll see you all in Discord as well. Cause Jesus, oh yeah, you also get some emojis, some custom emojis I had made. So I hope you like them. There was a, I can leave a link to her Twitter, but essentially I was sent some really funny fan art of me dressed as Yanfei, and I love them so much that I actually bought them. I'm not going to ignore super chats. I will get to those in a second. I'm going to scroll back up. I actually bought them from her to use for emojis for both the server and for YouTube. So if you become a member, you do get access to those, and some of them are really funny. And the higher up we go, the more emojis we'll unlock. I do have more that are not present currently in the chat. So anyway, yeah. Okay, I gotta scroll back up because I know I've seen some super chats. You guys have asked questions. I gotta touch on those. So Max Lou, thank you for the super chat. And you ask, is anything found in game currently and release trailers fair game to talk about? Okay, yes. Anything in the teaser, anything in game, and speculations are fair game to talk about. When I say I don't want leaks about Sumeru, specifically what I'm talking about is like talking about a specific character that has not been released by name, and mentioning like their outfit inspirations and their skin tones and things like that. Like if it's really specific, I don't really want it mentioned in chat. If it's not very specific and you're just talking about like everything in general, I think that's okay. That's kind of where my bar is. So if you guys want to talk about that, that's totally fine. I do want to talk about the leaks to a degree because I think they're important because of essentially how they came to be, because it's a bit of a unique situation since 1.5, and it's actually a lot. If you guys weren't here during 1.5, oh boy. Welcome to round 2 of the Leaker Hunt decree. But I recognize that, you know, a lot of people have seen them, and that we're just gonna have to live with the reality that everyone knows about what's going on. But for the people who don't, and the people who want to stay in the dark, I kind of want to respect that to a degree. Some of it's a little inevitable, but you know. Anyway, so that's how that goes. And Wind Valley, version 2.0 special program at 12:55. You can see the dev checking out the wiki pages of Garshap as well as Rostam. Feel free to look them up. It also involves something called the Jahak, the snake shoulder. I don't remember much of that. That was a long time ago. I mean, that's almost a year ago now, isn't it? Mostly? Almost? Well, I don't know. Is it a year ago? Whoa. Time flies, man. I mean, thank you for the super chat. I'm not quite sure the relevance here. Are you suggesting that those are Sumeru things that they're looking up? Because I'm not entirely sure. I know that on version 2.0 they were looking at some things that were rather Persian inspired, but I wasn't sure if they were in reference to like Rostam and Ajdaha, or if they were going to be in reference to Sumeru. Unfortunately, from what I've seen of Sumeru, we've got a lot more inspiration than just the Persian Empire. It's big. In my opinion, a bit too big. Like really, really big. Yeah, way too big. So, okay, so from what I can tell, in Sumeru so far, just from what we've seen so far, and obviously some leaked content that I've seen, the region that we're actually being inspired by is the entire southern half of Asia. basically anything south of China and all the way west through southern Europe and the Middle East and all the way through the north half of Africa. So that includes SEA, you know, like the Indonesia area, Philippines, all of it, like all of it. It's a lot of cultures in one region. And I'm a little concerned, mostly because that's a lot of cultures to mix into one thing. And I'm fine with mixing cultures for, you know, fantasy video games, but that is a lot. And I guess my one concern is that I think I've gone around this entire island at this point. My one concern here is that they're gonna end up being able to only make one character per culture that they want to represent, or they might just ignore some entirely and just do architecture instead. And I'm not really sure how they're gonna handle it. I'm a little concerned about that. But that's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a soup. It's gonna be a bit of a soup. So on that note, I kind of want to I want to point out I want to talk about what the actual leak situation is so you guys can understand what information is out there, what information isn't, how it happened and all of that kind of stuff. So effectively, I won't actually tell you like actual leaks though. So if you want to stay in the dark, that you'll still be in the dark, don't worry. So, my understanding is that essentially a dev kit of Genshin got released into the wild. Oh, I'm locked in here. Well, that's annoying. Where'd they go? Come back here. A dev kit got released, and a dev kit is very different from having a beta get released. Usually when you get leaks, they're from the beta, all right? And beta leaks are one thing because they only contain things for like the next version and then occasionally some little things for maybe one other version ahead. A dev kit is basically everything that MiHoYo has in progress so far. We're talking everything like up to Fontaine at this point. And it may not have a whole lot of Fontaine in it, but like there's references to Fontaine, which just gives you an idea of like the extent to which this leak happened. It's really bad, and basically we've seen almost every single character that MiHoYo has planned for the entirety of Sumeru already. So I don't know if that will lead to more to some redesigns or some adjustments just so that, you know, MiHoYo can retain some element of surprise, or if they're already so far done in development that, you know, there's nothing they can do and they're just going to roll with it. I don't know. But that's what's out there so far. As far as I know, there are no story leaks. There's a couple of little tidbits that you can get from descriptions of some of the playable characters that I think are somewhat insightful into what kind of story we're going to be seeing in Sumeru. But there's nothing like plot-wise in there. At least nothing credible. Before Inazuma came out, there was a really crazy story leak that came out about Goro blocking the Muso no Hitotachi like 5 times and that he was a shield character and all this other stuff. We call that the Goro fanfic moment because whoever wrote that really wanted Goro to be impressive and cool and important, and it wasn't. Goro didn't really do anything. No offense, Goro. But it was a Kazuha moment. So we call that the Goro fanfic moment, and there are a lot of Goro fanfic moments in the Sumeru leaks currently as far as story goes. I hate this stupid thing. Come down here. So there's a lot of those. So as far as I know, there's like no actual plot points being discussed. So I can safely talk about that without using too much insider information. In case anyone's wondering. I can hit the platform with the claymore, but I don't want to because it's annoying. Maxlu, so there is a scholarship award in Sumeru in a teaser. There is a push for folly. Will meeting award winners be painful in the future? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm as far as the Sumeru story goes, I get the feeling from the trailer they've already established that there are two factions in Sumeru, kind of like how there were two factions in Inazuma. There's the desert faction and there's the jungle faction. That is from the teaser. That's from the leak. And then they just don't get along, and that's basically all we know. I'm going to assume that... I don't know how to explain this without going into, like, serious leak territory. I'm assuming for the time being that Kusanali is the head of the Sumeru Academy, right? And since she's the head of the Sumeru Academy, and we know in Travail that, you know, the Dendro Archon makes no argument against this push for folly, even though she's the god of wisdom, it implies to me that she may have a part in censorship, or she may have a part in, I don't want to say false wisdom, but maybe not practical wisdom. And maybe not even wisdom. Maybe she just wants to study things. And it doesn't have, like, any real meaning. I wonder, you know, since she's the Dendro Archon, and she has this whole, you know, motif around plants, because that's what Dendro is. Hi, dude.
Follow my lead. Charge!
I wonder if she'll be part of the Rainforest faction in a way. Like, if the Academy is going to be, like, the Rainforest type thing. And maybe true wisdom actually ends up being found in the desert. Because when you think about it, life in the desert is really, really hard. Plants don't really grow there. It's not a great situation for that kind of stuff. So I wonder if maybe we're going to have a dichotomy of life and death. Where the desert's representing death, and then the rainforest is representing life, because obviously one is lush and one is not. And there's different types of wisdom that come from both, and I'm going to assume that there's going to be two different ideologies that come about as a result. That's kind of what I'm expecting from the plot on a high level. As far as the award goes, I think the award is just a method that the Academy uses to sort of push their agenda. And I do wonder if that'll be at odds with some of the ideology of the desert people. So that's what I'm thinking so far as plot goes. I have a lot of thoughts about Kusanali specifically. Like, how to explain? There's... I actually don't know how to explain this in like a good way, but Kusanali... Okay, actually, yes I do. Wait, what am I doing? I wasn't paying attention to my commission. Wait, what am I doing? Oh, we're going to Yinger. Okay. All right, so if you guys have watched my original Sumeru speculations video, which I did ages ago, and I mean ages ago, I made a speculation that the Dendro Archon would be a reference to Mobius from Honkai Impact. Because so far, all of the Archons are pretty strong references to the Herschers from Honkai. Whether or not they're actually supposed to be like perfect representations of them or whatever, like that's subjective. I don't care too much to, you know, discuss that bit or argue that bit rather. But so far it's been fairly consistent, although there's been a lot of arguments about Zhongli specifically, because he's not a perfect XP for, you know, some of the Honkai characters. But But. I've learned a lot about Genshin and Honkai both since I made that video, and I've changed my thoughts about what MiHoYo is actually doing when it comes to referencing characters from their other games, in Genshin specifically. And a lot of people are like, oh, you know, Yae Miko is basically just Yae Sakura from Honkai. And the more I think about it, the more I realize that that's just not true. None of the character references are a one-to-one perfect representation. Every single reference is actually 2 or more references. So what I mean is, Yae Miko is Yae Sakura plus one other person, which is debatable who that second person is. But like Raiden A would be both Raiden Mei and Dr. Mei from Honkai. So she's a mix of 2. She's not just one. And then that would make Zhongli a mix of both Welt Yang and, in my opinion, Fu Hua. But that's, you know, a lot of people will argue me different things on that. But, you know, like, the Wendy from Gun Girls that Venti is based off of, he looks a lot like her, but he doesn't act much like her at all, right? And when I really start looking at characters, I do realize that all of them are a mix of at least two Honkai characters. So with that in mind, I've decided that Baizu is actually probably more the Mobius XP here, but he's Mobius mixed with Sue. And I think it's mostly because Sue was a doctor, and he's pretty chill. But he also has a lot of Mobius's aesthetics and snake motifs and everything else. I do think snakes will be quite important in Sumeru when we get there. But not for the same reasons that I cited before. Before, I was talking about a translation for the Dendro Gemstone, which is still technically a leak, I think. But one thing I want to point out about the gemstones, which I didn't realize when I wrote the script for this, is that the references to Hindu gods on the gemstones themselves, like the Shivata gemstone for the cryo one and stuff like that, none of those are actually in any other language. It's an English exclusive thing. So it's actually very difficult to look at those and say, yeah, that's actually a reference that we should be using, right? So I think my logic for how I got to Mobius is a bit flawed. Now, if we use the same logic for... This is my way of getting around leaks. If we use the same logic for, picking Hershers, right, to represent different archons or to be reference points for different archons, the one that makes both the most and the least sense for the Dendro Archon is Teresa from Honkai, for 2 reasons. One, she has a lot of connections to the Hersher of Binding, even though she's not one yet. She has the Oath of Judah, which has a lot of chains, which you could easily say, oh, well, you could make those into vines, and now she's, Dendro, and now she's plant-based. You could easily say that. But binding and vines is something that I see a lot of potential connections with. I'm going to go just do artifact runs, I think, because I don't think I've done them. By artifact runs, I mean go get some EXP. Because I need some... so don't mind me. Because I can do this kind of brainlessly while I talk. I saw the super chat. I'll come back to it, I promise. I want to finish my thought first. Oops. This is what happens when I play with one hand. What was I doing? Oh, right. Hersher Binding. So I do think she's based off of Teresa for that reason, but I also realized later on that Teresa, is the head of an academy in Honkai, right? So it would make sense for her to be used here in that way. However, based on the other XPs and references that we've seen so far, it won't be just Teresa, sorry. It'll be Teresa plus one other person. To be determined, whoever that is. Which also got me thinking about a very popular theory called slime theory, which some of you may be familiar with. Cat in the Blue Hat talked about it a bit. I think he made a whole video on it. I'm not sure about the particulars of what he covered, but basically he was suggesting, and the popular theory suggests, that every slime in Genshin is actually referencing the Archons of the region. Now, a lot of people like this theory and a lot of people hate this theory. But the reason I'm referencing it is because so far everything checks out. Like, so far, I can't actually refute it because the Animo slime does behave like Venti. It does fly up into the air, and it does shoot little, beams of wind. And the Geo slime does have a shield barrier type thing, like Zhongli, and it does shoot rocks, like Zhongli. And the Electro slimes do come in pairs, just like Raiden technically should, because, whether or not you want to argue for A and Makoto or A and the Shogun, you can do it both ways, right? So you can do that both ways. But Electro slimes come in pairs. They come in yellow and they come in purple. So I think it's easy to look at those and be like, yeah, okay, I could see how that would reference the Electro Archon. So that's 3 out of 4 Archons that work so far, and I think that's a pretty good percentage to look at the Dendro slime and speculate a little. And I want to be clear that I'm not really for the whole idea that there is a second Dendro Archon or a secret Dendro Archon. However, there's evidence to suggest that they're actually going to go a similar route. And that reference for me comes from the fact that Kusanali is named after Kusa grass, right? So and her name actually means in Chinese and Japanese, lucky little grass king. And it's always grass, right? It's not flowers. Yet her birthday, the celebration, the big festival in Sumeru that's supposed to celebrate her birthday, is called the Flower Festival. And I will not try to pronounce the actual name of it. But it kind of bothers me that it's I see the super chat, I promise I'm getting to it. But it really bothers me that it just bothers me that she's a grass Archon, I guess. But there are references to her birthday being about flowers, which either means that she's going to change and that she'll bloom and turn into something a little bit different, or that she's not the real form of the Archon. Not necessarily that she's not the real Archon, but just not the correct form. Now, I say this as we're heading towards... Oh, I gotta go get the artifacts over here first. The Dendro slimes actually come in 2 forms that are fairly different. One of them is the tiny little slimes that only have leaves and grass on their head. And that's a motorcycle, hang on. So the little slimes only have grass and leaves on their head, but the big slime has a flower on its head. The big slime hides underground and never really does much, but the little slimes are the one that kind of like swarm you and attack. And when it comes to slimes, the Dendro slime is also the only one that summons little slimes to do its bidding. So, I was thinking, in this case, I was wondering if the Dendro Archon here, this guy, right, or this girl, or whatever, might actually have Kusanali, or the little version of it, as a summon or an avatar, while they actually lock themselves away in a library somewhere and do whatever they like. So I'm likening it to how in Honkai there are these little floating things called elves. And when you use them on the battlefield, they kind of work as like little mini turrets. They can do damage and all this other kind of stuff like on field with you, but you don't really control them. And they're just these like cute little pixie things, right? And I was wondering if Kusanali might be something like that, and her true form might not be that of, like the little girl that we see on the Statue of Seven, and might instead be, and that might instead actually just be her avatar, which would be kind of cool. I don't know how likely it is that they'll go that direction, honestly. A lot of that speculation is kind of copium, but it's mostly because I'm not a big fan of the idea of what direction they've gone with her so far. I won't talk about her model specifically, but there is one thing about her design that bothers me, and that's that it lacks any and all cultural references to any part of Southeast Asia, the Middle East, Persian Empire, or North Africa. There are 0 references to any of it in her design, and that really, 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 really bothers me. And it bothered me for a long time until I realized that her outfit actually might be referencing the first unified civilization. And I realized that that might be a bit of a leak, but I want to point out that that's coming, and there's going to be a shitstorm when it drops. And that's part of the foundation for my argument that she might not actually be the original form of the current Archon. It's not that I don't think she isn't the Archon. It's just I don't think that the Archon comes in that form, typically. Anyway, that's my reasoning. And by original civilization, I mean the unified civilization, meaning like the Thanes era and Kanamiya style thing, right? There's a lot of evidence to suggest that the twins so the Traveler twins are from or are related to the original civilization. And I can actually draw a direct line from the original civilization to Conria as a branch, as like an offshoot of the original civilization. So I'm also going to predict, based on that alone, that we're going to get some information about the twins' history, the Traveler's history, and about the original civilization, and a lot of Conria lore. I'm pretty convinced of that. So I'm gonna stop for a second, because there are super chats that I need to read, because now I'm a little behind. But I wanted to get through that thought. There's some interesting things going on with her. As for whether or not I like her design, I mean, it's cute, but it bugs me for reasons. Anyway, that's where I'm at with it now. I no longer think she's Mobius unless she's somehow Mobius, the Archon that hides away, and then Kusanali is like her little avatar that runs around and does her bidding for her because it's cuter that way. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that. So I'm gonna take a look at my super chats real quick. Break Fate's Chain, thank you very much for your super chat. Do you think EM-based Electro characters like Kuki or Yai, as well as the 2.8 event characters like Fischl and Shinyan and Kazuha, will pair with Dendro well? Shinyan, no. There's literally no helping Shinyan without buffing fizz damage, like straight up. Kazuha, I don't think will pair well with Dendro, necessarily. I think he'll pair well with teams that run Dendro. But I don't know that he'll pair well with Dendro. The thing is we don't know if Dendro swirls, right? And there are some Dendro reactions in the game currently that we can test out on. And one thing I've noticed is that you cannot swirl Dendro right now. You know? I'm not available right now. I don't want to. I'm not going to go through co-oping right now. I can't do that. I'll lose so much focus. I have a magpie brain. I'm not good at playing and talking at the same time. I can't play with somebody and talk at the same time. I'll die. Anyway. Burning is not the only one currently, actually. There is one. There is one other one. When lightning strikes grass, it generates particles. So it's very possible that Electro and Dendro, to a degree, will have some sort of battery
Catch me.
capability. Like it'll generate extra particles, which would be kind of cool. Maybe things will have different effects because we can't really test what happens when lightning strikes grass because we can't control the grass. But that's, you know, a thing. So like but we can still go places and pick up the Dendro aura, right? And we can try to swirl it, and you can't actually swirl it. So I don't think Kazuha or Sucrose or Venti will pair with Dendro specifically, but I do think they'll pair well with teams that run Dendro. One thing I want to point out is that I'm actually making a Shinobu video. That's my experimental video that I'm working on with an editor to see if I can actually outsource some of my stuff. And why does it keep jumping? I'm trying to stay on top of my chats and they keep jumping on me. Stop it. I'm complaining about YouTube chat, not anything else, but yeah. So I'm working on that video right now, and in that video I talk a little bit about EM scaling and the potential for electro-dendro reactions. The fact that both Yai and Shinobu were the last two units released, and they're both scaling with Elemental Mastery, and Lisa, who has a lot of strong ties... Where am I going? Who has a lot of strong ties to Sumeru. I missed my thing entirely. Actually scales with her Ascension stat as Elemental Mastery. So the two latest characters plus the one Electro character that has a legit connection to Sumeru Academy, all have references to Elemental Mastery. So I think that's a strong indicator that Electro and Dendro will have an EM-based, I don't want to say amplifying reaction, but maybe a reaction that is like an amplifying reaction that will function like one and make good use of Elemental Mastery as a stat to scale off of. So I do think that will be a thing. And if that's a thing, I think animal units will pair really well with Electro units in that case because they can still shred the resistance. And then because like Electro Charge, for example, Electro and Hydro can have a persistent aura on the enemy, you could potentially run, you know, triple reaction teams or soup teams, or effectively run a Sukokumon team without actually having all of the, you know, complexities of Sukokumon. Because that is a pain to play. So painful. I got to try it on a friend's account recently and I didn't like it one bit. It was awful. So yeah, I do think that'll be a thing. I think if you plan to become a Dendro main for whatever reason, Shinobu's going to be a huge pickup for you if you have her. So I would recommend at least leveling her. You don't actually have to level her talents at all unless you want to level her skill for her healing multiplier. But like, Overload and Electrocharge reactions don't scale on anything except Elemental Mastery and level. So you can just leave the burst damage at 0. Like the burst level at 0. I will also say that burning applies pyro faster than basically anything else in the game. So you could effectively run a really strong overload team with good crowd control with a Animo unit that has a Dendro unit applying a Dendro aura to the enemy that you can persistently keep burning damage on. So that's something worth noting as well. I definitely think that'll be a thing, though. If it's not a thing, I'll be really shocked. I'll be so shocked. Anyway, Rentaro Shokuho, sorry. Rentaro Shokuho. Oh, boy. Are you down for co-op? Now that I'm playing, but I'm curious. You obviously don't have to. I apologize if I'm overstepping. You're not overstepping. I don't usually do co-op because I'm so scatterbrained and I have the attention span of a magpie or a gnat. You know, like I don't have much of an attention span. That I have a hard time keeping up with just playing the game while I'm talking. I don't know that I can play with somebody else and talk at the same time unless I'm not actually talking about something that requires brain power, like lore. So I don't generally co-op streams for that reason. So it's not overstepping, it's just I can't focus. I can't focus. I'm not good at that. Multitasking? What's that? I have no idea. I'm missing so many things. I'm so sorry.
You're never gonna win, though.
Hang on. Where am I? I have lost my other super chats. Where'd they go? There was another one. There was one more. There was one more. I saw it. Oh, there it is. Pegasus. Forbidden section in the Academia Library, maybe. Yes. If they don't give us a library of Alexandria, I will be so upset. They better. And I really hope that, you know, going to Sumeru will encourage Lisa to let us into the Mondstadt Forbidden section. That would be really cool. But thank you for the super chat, man. I saw I had some other questions in chat that I must get to. Oh, Mars, thank you very much for the super chat. We appreciate you. Happy 4th. Happy 4th of July to you, too. It's never really been my favorite holiday, mostly because I have animals, and when you have animals on the 4th of July, you're gonna have them go freaking ballistic as soon as the fireworks start, and it's always stressful. I saw this really cool thing, though, where they're starting to do fireworks shows, but with drones. So they're doing LED drone shows, which is neat, because, like, where did my electro aura go? What the hell? Hey, come back here. Wait, come back here! What is happening? Wait, that was weird. I thought that was really neat because they're quiet, but they're still really cool and really pretty, and you could make some really neat light shows. So can't wait for that to become a little bit more widespread, especially in rural areas, because it's so loud. They're so loud. The last time I got head-butted by a horse, it was because of a firework. She just ran right into my eye. Knocked me right off my feet. I can't even say that, like, I got my first black eye in a cool way, like in a fight. I got it from getting headbutted by a horse. Anyway. That was off topic. I'm sorry. Let me catch up. I have skipped so many questions. I'm so sorry. Tush, will Colette come back to Mondstadt for a story quest hangout the same way Noelle went to Liyue? I think so, yeah. I mean, I've said this a few times. I really think Colette will be the one to take us to Sumeru because of her connections with Amber, because it was kind of foreshadowed in the manga, because we know she's in Sumeru because of the manga. For all of those reasons, I think she'll at least be part of our initial introduction into the area. I will be shocked, absolutely shocked, if that's not the case, you know. Thank you for accepting my question. Why does it stop moving? Sometimes content creators will get offended or ban you for asking to play with them. What? Why? What? That's stupid. Who would do that? No, really, who would do that? Why? Just ignore somebody if you don't want to play with them. Jeez, that's so mean. So mean. I'm not gonna ban somebody for asking to play with me. That's silly. Anyway, moving on. Now that I'm kind of caught up. Yeah, I'm caught up enough. I kind of wanted to ask a couple of things. I wanted to ask specifically how you guys feel about having an Archon that might use a child model. And there is a reason why I'm asking this, and I'm wondering if anyone will pick up on it. It's lore related. It is lore related, the reason I'm asking this. But how do you guys feel about having a, you know, like a little small one, like Chi-Chi sized, like a Chi-Chi? Because, like, if you look at the Statue of 7, this is not a leak. I'm using it in my thumbnail. If you look at the Statue of 7, her proportions are basically child model. Super child model. Okay, so it seems like a lot of people are neutral or don't really like it. Not a lot of people are really enthusiastic about it. Interesting. So what if I then went on to say... what if I then went on to point out that the Harbinger we're most likely to get in Sumeru is Dottore. Just because we know he has ties to Sumeru via his experiments and the fact that he was studying at the academia and all of that kind of stuff. What if I told you that he was the Harbinger we're most likely to get? And what if I told you that one of his things that he likes to do is experiment on children? And we have an Archon with a child model. Now what do you think? Yeah, it's kind of the that's kind of the reaction I was expecting. That's kind of the reaction I was expecting. And this is part of why I'm a little weirded out by the idea that that might be Kusanali's actual form. Okay. I'm a little weirded out by that for this particular reason. I'm fairly convinced that Dottore will be the one that shows up. So anyway, I'm concerned. How old Dottore is? I honestly, you could argue a lot of different things for Dottore. It depends on so many things, actually. Why did I point that out? Well, because it's actually something worth talking about. And it might have relevance, you know? Like, remember, in the Travail trailer, it says that, you know, in the desert, there's a push for folly, right? But the Archon makes no argument against it. But what kind of folly are they talking about, and by who? That's the other thing. The push for folly could be referring to some ethics of certain experiments. Yes, it could be. Totally could be. Like, there's a lot of ways to go with that, and I'm wondering if this is why I think Dottore might be the one that shows up here. It has everything to do with the fact that, you know, he's questionable. He's morally questionable. He's quite morally gray, and he's more concerned with results rather than the means you get them with. And I wonder if they are going to make Sumeru a whole...
Our bond is strong. Out of my way.
How do I say? A whole commentary on ethics and... Hi. Everything from, like, you know, animal experimentation to child labor to... I don't know, anything, honestly. Are you guys gonna come like inshore? Do I have to kill you with Goro? Because that would be kind of funny. That would be super funny.
Stand with me.
That'd be super funny. I have had to beat Ajdaha with a Diona that was doing like 300 damage per auto attack before in co-op because everyone else died. That was funny. It took forever. I don't ever want to do it again. What about Scaramouche? Yeah, okay, so, but Scaramouche isn't really a Harbinger anymore, right? Like, we know Child's looking for him. He went AWOL with the Gnosis. Chances are the Saritsa won't forgive him for that, you know? So I don't think we can really call him a Harbinger anymore. Like, as in, this is the Harbinger that we're gonna meet in this region. I mean, he's still a Fatui Harbinger to a degree, but he's not like... He's not the Harbinger that's gonna try and get in our way and potentially steal the Archon's Gnosis this time. He has one. He doesn't need another one. He has a very particular attachment to the one that he has right now. So I do think we'll meet Scaramouche for sure. I don't know if it'll be in Sumeru. That would be interesting. If he went all the way to Sumeru to find a way to do something with the Gnosis. I'm not sure why he would. I'm a little lost on that one. But who knows? Who knows, really? Oh, Diluc, right? Yeah, okay. So Diluc's skin. Jonathan says, "Yeah, I was wondering about Dottore too, because how did Diluc get his delusion back after he discarded it? And we do know that Dottore had it, or he was. Yeah, he does have it at the end of the manga. I don't know that he's using a delusion in his skin." There's a... Oh, I gotta talk about the Statue of Seven and Visions here, and I don't want to, but I will. Come here, little witchy woo. Not you, Finny. She is right out of my fields, like literally right out of my fields. Why? I don't want to burst. I don't want to. God, she's such a pain in the ass. So, one thing I've always wondered about visions is what's their range? How far away from a vision do you have to be before you can't use it? And how do you get a vision to stop working for somebody? Like, we know that Diluc traveled for 4 years. 4 years undercover without his vision. And yeah, he could have been using a delusion. That's possible. But the delusion goes on his hand. It's mounted on a glove, and it always has been, even before, even when Crepus had it, you know? So, I don't see it on his hand, on his outfit anywhere. So I wonder where he has it, and if he can just use certain types of elemental abilities innately, and if he even needs his vision to do that. Because he didn't have it taken from him, he just left it behind. And then Kaya gave it back to him 4 years later. I'm not fighting you again, you annoy me. Leave me alone. No. I'm just running around in circles because I can. I could go to my teapot. We could do something in the teapot. That is something I could do. I don't really want to, though. That would require, like, thinking about aesthetics. Lazy. Yeah, I don't know what the range is. Like, can you be 100 feet from your vision? 1,000 feet? Can you be 10 miles? Can you be any distance and still use it? I don't know. That's the weird thing. That's the really weird thing. The thing is that... Oh god, we gotta talk about the robots too. Jesus, there's so many things. Dottore has the... Yeah, he does have the delusion at the end of the manga, but he has the delusion in its broken form. And we don't know if those sorts of things can be repaired or if they just have to be, like, destroyed and rebuilt. So I'm not really sure what to think about Diluc's outfit relation to his vision and delusion. I don't totally know, but hopefully that'll give us some insight and some lore on it. What we do know, based on Ayaka's little animated teaser thing, is that visions don't manifest instantly. They take a minute, and it looks like people are able to use elemental energy before their vision manifests to a degree. Because that was the case with Ayaka. So that's a thing. That's a thing. Oh my god, there's so much. I want to talk about the Statue of Seven again. Because there's something that's bothering me about the Statue of Seven. But I saw a super chat. And I saw 2 I've missed. I'm so sorry. There's questions in those that I have to answer. Where did it go? Oh my god, YouTube, please. John Lellis, thank you for the super chat. He says, I mean, it's not the first time an Archon has voluntarily cooperated with the Futui and the Saritsa. That's true. That is true. It is definitely not the first time. It is definitely not the first time that that's happened. It would be interesting if they were cooperating. I'm a little skeptical on them, on Dottore and Kusanali cooperating in this particular instance, if only because Dottore was chased out of the academy. I don't know that he would be, like, accepted back for a collaboration or anything. That would be very interesting. I don't know how I feel about it, but it'd be interesting. I can't use this story. Go away, wolves! I'm having fun on my own, doing a treasure hunt. Yeah! Oh my god, there's so many. Dojo Rocker Girl, thank you for the super chat. Do you think something may be wrong with Scaramouche's body and he thinks someone in Sumeru could help fix him now that he has the Gnosis? I do wonder. It also might be that he wants someone to help him insert the Gnosis properly so that he can actually use it. And maybe he needs a third party to do that, and maybe that third party is Dottore. Who knows? And maybe that's where things get all kind of screwy, because maybe Dottore is like, oh, hey, I can use this to make like a pseudo-god robot thing. And then he does, and then we end up fighting Scaramouche as a boss. That'd be cool.
Can't catch me.
Yeah, there's definitely something odd about Scaramouche's reaction to the Gnosis that I think will give us some more information. Hopefully we'll find out in Sumeru. Hopefully that'll be a thing. Corey Yuri, thank you for the super chat. Hey Hoyoverse, do you remember that you have a character named Rosaria that you can make contact for? Please, Jesus, give her some kind of content in 3.x. I don't know if you saw... yeah. Yeah. To their credit, Hoyoverse has been getting better about using their playable characters more than their NPCs. Not for everything, but there's just so little going on in Mondstadt. I think until we get like Eludi Harpastum or something, we're probably not going to get much in the way of Rosaria content. One interesting thing I will point out is that a commenter pointed out that Pantalone, I think, is it Pantalone? In the Commedia dell'arte, actually does often have a daughter named Rosaria. And we know that Rosaria was like an orphan from a cold region that ended up like killing a bandit that raised her. So I wonder, I do wonder if she may have significance at some point for that reason and that reason only. But there's some fun facts that you might be able to do something with. I don't know. I don't know. Where am I going? I can't see anything. Oh, mushrooms. In other news, I 90'd my Toma because I could. People are just like, why is your Bennett level 70? And I'm like, because he doesn't need to go to any higher. They're just like, why is your Toma level 90 if you think he's awful? Because I like him. And because I'm on copium, that maybe he'll be able to apply enough pyro for burning reactions when Dendro shows up to make him useful. Anyway, that was my side note. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Grass, where do you think Traveler will come into the Sumeru story? If you scroll back into the stream, I talk about Kusanali having a connection to the Traveler. This is something I want to explore in depth, but I think that's where it comes in. I really think that the Traveler has connections to the Unified Civ, and I still think that they're native to Teyvat and they just don't know it. I do think that's a thing. Ah, yes, Statue of 7. Okay, Statue of 7. That's something we have to talk about. Oh, John Lillis, you're back again. Holy shit, thank you. Maybe not cooperating per se, but in pursuit of knowledge science, perhaps may coincide with Scaramouche's story, as chat is saying. Who knows? It would be interesting. I do wonder. It's possible. It's possible to me that, you know how I said You know how I said that the child form might not actually be Kusanali's true form? It's very possible to me that Kusanali might have another form, and maybe her current form can't accept the Gnosis, and she might be in a similar situation to Scaramouche and may be willing to use him as a test subject for that reason in order to get her own form back or something similar. Or her old powers back, who knows? Because it doesn't sound like she's a very powerful god. You know? So that is a possibility. That would be a very interesting direction to go with it. Morally questionable kind of situation. Yeah. Crystal Mari, level 90 Toma based. Sending my support for this decision. I play him with Kuki. That's it. Hope you have a great stream. Honestly, they line up pretty well for an overload team if you ever want to do that. We could do that for a while. We can get rid of the Arataki gang for a short bit.
I guess the housework can wait.
I know I have Shinobu on most teams. It's because she's my favorite type of healer. She is my favorite type of healer, and I love her. Also, thank you for the super chat. Actually, he's not level 90, but I did ascend him, yeah, to 80 out of 90, just for funsies. I realized I had all of the materials already pre-farmed for him, so I just may as well spend the resources. Also, another based decision. I crowned Shinobu because I can. So there's that. That's the thing I did. That is the thing I did. This is the one thing I don't like about this team is that I can't farm ore with it. Well, I can, but it requires Venti and it's annoying. Listen, I love Shinobu. She's my favorite type of healer, okay? She's my favorite type of healer, and she doesn't actually take that much investment. I just wanted to hyper invest into her because I like her. So leave me alone. Double crowned her. You know what? I would, except that I don't actually need her burst damage for anything. Because her burst damage is almost like icing on top of reaction damage. And then I'm probably not really going to use her as a physical DPS because it actually takes a lot away from her reaction damage output if you try to build her with crit and attack and everything else, so I just didn't bother. That's why she's only crowned on her skill. Okay, I could triple crown her if I really wanted to, but that requires, well, yeah. It's not, in this particular case, it's probably not worth it. I like her so she gets a crown, but I don't think it's wise for me to spend like several million mora crowning her other two talents that don't really need it. So I probably won't. Also, I want to save at least a few crowns for future characters. Just to have them on hand. We'll see how it goes. I wanna pause for a second and go back to the statues of 7 because I have some questions that maybe you guys can help me work through. Because the statues of 7 confuse me. Okay? They really confuse me. So, the ones in Mondstadt and Liyue make sense to me. They make perfect sense to me because Zhongli and Venti have always been the archons of their respective regions, right? They've always been the archons of their respective regions. There's like no question about that. They're the originals. So it makes sense that their statues are of them, right? I need to switch to this team for a second.
Crumble.
But here's the thing. When we got to Inazuma, this statue of 7 really confuses me. For 2 reasons. The first is because this actually isn't Makoto, even though she was supposed to be the Archon. This is A. This statue is of A. But A doesn't have the Gnosis. Scaramouche has the Gnosis. And as far as the people of Inazuma are concerned, they don't have a new Archon. They still have their Archon. Their Archon never died. And yeah, okay, so the reason why we know this is A, and the reason why I'm saying this is A, and the reason why I want to bring this up for Kusanali, is because of her braid. The reason why I'm standing on her thing and looking at her back right now is because of her braid. If you look at her braid, right? If you look at her braid, it goes all the way down to the end, which is the way that A wears her hair. But Makoto actually only has a braid that goes halfway down. So her hair at the end would be loose. Right? So this should be A. And yeah, it's a little contentious because, you know, they were twins. So maybe they just selected one look that they wanted to share for their Archon stuff and just went with that. That is a possibility. But if that's not the case, I'm going to assume that these statues update automatically with whoever is the current Archon, because A is currently recognized as the current Archon. But then the question becomes, what makes you an Archon? Does Celestia have to recognize that you're an Archon? And if so, what level of recognition do they need? Because the Gnosis is supposed to be a connection between an Archon and Celestia, right? But A cut herself off from Celestia. And she doesn't have the Gnosis anymore. She gave it to Miko, and so then Miko should have been the Archon if that's the case. Like if having the Gnosis makes you the Archon. And Scaramouche has it currently, which means that if he inserts it, or that Gnosis is the connection to Celestia that makes you recognize as the Archon for a region, then this statue should be of him. Right? And this is where I get confused. What makes an Archon an Archon? What makes this statue change? With Kusanali, we're in a similar situation. We know the previous Dendro Archon died. So unless the previous Dendro Archon was also a little girl, then the statue changed. But the people likely didn't recarve a statue because we restore these statues back to this form, right? Like we change these statues. They just clean them. So they have to change automatically. So does Kusanali have a Gnosis? And what makes these statues change? Does Celestia automatically know and then just automatically reassign someone to be an Archon? Who knows? But if that's the case, then Zhongli faking his death didn't do anything for Celestia. And Celestia knows that Zhongli isn't dead because he's still on the Statue of 7 and no one's been reassigned to his area. So what the hell is going on with these statues of 7? I don't understand. The other thing, too, is that Rex Lapis, or Morax, or the Geo Archon, usually appeared to people in the form of a dragon. So if he usually appeared in the form of a dragon, then why is he a dude in his statue? If it's based on, like, human image of what their god looks like. That's the confusing thing. I'm so confused about the whole thing. Anyway, it's my little rant on the statues of 7. Mimi, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for the great vids. Revision distance. In the first Inazuma Archon quest, people couldn't use their visions in the statue regardless of distance away from it. Is the statue exceptional in some way? I wonder about that because A did seem to have some level of control over who could use their visions and when, but it was mostly in the realm of euthymia. And if you really think about it, the fact that the Visions Hunt Decree was based off of the Sword Hunt Decree, right? The fact that it's based off of the Sword Hunt Decree, we know that the swords in Japan at that time were melted down into the statue of Buddha. Yeah? And because they were melted down, you couldn't use them anymore. So my guess is there is probably something to do with the statue, in that case, making these visions in particular unable to be used. Otherwise, it's kind of confusing. Because, like, do you have to be touching your vision? Does it have to be on your person? Like, what is the actual range? I don't know. It's confusing to me. There's a lot of unanswered questions that I'm not particularly fond of. But anyway.
Just let me know if you ever find yourself
What
in a
else have I done? I have
can
done
help
these. I'm looking at all the stuff. Oh, the robots! Oh yeah, I want to talk about the robots. Maybe we should hop into my teapot for a minute. Oh, Woozy, thank you for the super chat. Or, yeah, wow. Why did that not show up on my thing? I just scrolled and I saw it. I'm sorry, I just scrolled and saw it, but it's not on my list. What happened? YouTube, please. Function. But thank you. So there's my vision rent. There's my vision rent. I want to go into my teapot for a second, though. Gray, do you think Kusanali's child form might be an offshoot similar to slimes, how the plants grow offshoots that will survive even if the main plant dies? Yeah, that's what I mean by I don't know if she's the primary body. Having her be a shoot or a sapling or something like that, like a sprout, a seed or something, makes a lot more sense to me as her being an Archon. It also kind of works out with the whole Teresa thing, because if you've played Honkai, you'd know that Teresa is actually a clone.
This realm is
And, I mean, plants clone. Cloning plants. That's a thing. So it's not that she's not the Archon. It's definitely not that she's not the Archon. I just don't think she's in her proper form. What am I doing? I was trying to make something. I do want to do a teapot stream one day, but I'm sitting here going, what if they release 3.0 and then we get a whole new like Sumeru based teapot, and I really want the Sumeru based teapot, and I want to anyway. I got to create some stuff. Real quick. Van. I need a bunch of... Yeah, okay. Do we have evidence to suggest that... Oh, wait, what? Wait, come back. Maybe Kusanali is a proxy. I mean, I think she's... Okay. Let me... I want to talk about robots, but I might have to go talk about Catherine. Yeah, all right. Here's the thing. Let's go down here. Proxy. Kind of. All right. Did I do my weeklies? Oh, no, I didn't. I did not. I could do those in a second. I did not do those. Hang on. Fenry, the Traveler can only see the statues of 7. I don't think the Traveler is the only one who can see the statues of 7, because we do get quests sometimes in Mondstadt for us to go clean the statues of 7. And we did have that whole thing with Dainsleif where we were talking about the missing statue of 7, right? And Barbara talked to us about that. So I 100% know that other people can see them. How they see them, however, like what form they see them in, is something that we don't know. That said, hang on. No, I'm just going to run around in circles for a little bit. I'm just going to run around my teapot for a minute. Because I want to talk about Catherine and a little bit about what I mean about Kusanali not having her true form. So one of my biggest theories for Catherine is because she says error and rebooting all the time, and she's got a keyhole in the back of her neck, like, I really do think that she's not a real person. I mean, I think she's a robot, right? I think she's a robot avatar type thing. And in Star Rail, Honkai Star Rail, there is a character named Herta. And Herta is an adult woman that you'll never see in game, because she exists somewhere else entirely. Like, she's off doing her own thing in her own lab somewhere way across the universe. But she has like dozens of these little childlike dolls that she essentially pilots remotely. And I've always thought of I've always thought of Herta as, how to say, I always thought of Herta and Catherine as sort of being the same, as Catherine having one original body somewhere, and she's piloting all of the other robot Catherines remotely. And I think Kusanali has something similar, where she has a real body somewhere, and she's almost piloting a little puppet robo body separately. Right? Like she could split into little miniature forms. And she's trying to regain her original body. That's more how I think of her. I don't think of her as not being the real Archon, and I don't think of her as yeah, I guess it's a little hard to articulate. But yeah, kind of like the Dendro Slimes, how the Dendro Slime is the only one that can actually spawn other Dendro Slimes. But it's not that, yeah, so kind of like the Raiden Shogun, except I don't, you know, A is trapped inside of one body, whereas I think Kusanali could potentially have dozens. The same with Catherine. Yeah, it does exist in Teapot Grass. Dendro Element does exist here. Where does the name Catherine come from? Oh, I don't know. I could do a deep dive into it, and I might one day. But yeah, the voice at the beginning of the Sumeru preview trailer, that was Kusanali. That is Kusanali. The reason I know that, the voice, okay, if you watched the live stream and you saw the teaser and you heard the voice that played before the teaser started, that was Kusanali's voice. And the reason why we know that is because in Chinese, that voice is Teresa's voice actor from Honkai. So we know that's Kusanali. Like, for sure. 100%. There's no way it's not. Woozy, hey, Ashikai, I missed the stream notification. Do you think the statues are built after the Cataclysm? No, I don't. I think they're built before the Cataclysm. I think they were built like 2,000 years ago, give or take. I think they were established after the Archon War, along with a few other things. We can go into that at some point. Zephyros, what if the seed we got is a way that Kusanali spreads her clones? I do wonder if there's a connection there, yeah. But yeah, it's for sure Teresa this time. Now I wanna shift and do like a complete lateral shift here. I want to talk about one theory I made a while back, because my friend Schwan pointed something out to me the other day that I thought was hysterical. And now I have to do it. Now I have to check it, because I didn't get a chance to check it earlier. I don't know actually where they are. So I traded in for my... Why does Paimon get her own thing? I don't understand. Do you have to craft the toys? Because I thought I did the... Okay, well, maybe we can't do this in the teapot. We'll go back to Inazuma. Oh, wait, no, I can do it from the menu. What am I doing? Ah! Oh, it's in landscape? Oh. Oh, okay. Let's go back. We'll go back in. Let's go back in. Hang on. Because Paimon doesn't have a friendship score. Oh. That's still silly. I should really put Paimon in my teapot. Okay, this place is full though, so I can't put anything in here for you now. So I gotta go to a different area. I see a super chat. Hang on. I will get to you in a moment, but let me go over here. I want to finish my train of thought. Do you know why all Statue of Sevens wear a hoodie? Oh, I don't know. Maybe they're I'm not gonna finish that sentence, actually. Never mind. They're under landscape? I hate the notification things. So look, are they in this one? Like all the way down at the end? Nope. Where, oh, where are my little robots? Oh, there they are. Hello. Stop making me scroll. Okay. Where am I? Oh, they're down there. Hi, little bots. I want to see the robots. Okay, so I made a theory a while ago about the fact that these characters that we have here, when we swap between them, that we're not actually different characters, and that we are just the traveler shape-shifting. I don't know how many of you guys remember that theory. But there's something interesting that was pointed out to me, and that is that the traveler robots here, while we do have robots like the thundering one, this is a thundering sitter, and I think this is the like the tippy, like the animo tippy one, right? Each one that has a specific element only does one action. But if you get the traveler one, the traveling robot, they do all of the actions, all of them, which I thought was very interesting and might actually support the idea that the traveler can do everything, including mimic the actions and the mannerisms of every other type of robot that it has. So I thought that was kind of cool, and it might actually support my theory a little bit in some ways. It could also just be referencing the fact that, you know, I just realized that it looks like they almost have moons on them. Did they have moons on them? Hang on. Oh no, it's just a gear. It looked like moons from a distance, but it's not. It's just weird gears. That's fine. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting, and I wanted to touch on it. My friend Schwan pointed it out to me. And yeah, they can control all the elements, which is neat. But, in this case, they're actually mimicking actions of the other robots. And it's, like, independent from the elements, because you can get the sitter in 3 different elements. You can get the tipper in 3 different elements. You can get the dancer in 3 different elements. But this guy does the actions of all different types of robots within those elements, which I just thought was really cool. Anyway, they do look like rotary telephones. I gotta scroll up. I've missed a bunch of people. John Lellis, thanks for the super chat. Won't be surprised if Catherine, Teyvat's supercomputer, is inspired by the Dendro Archon console. I don't know if we do that. I don't know if that's what they're going for. Just because the Adventurers Guild is founded in Shnesnaya, and I know I'm saying that totally wrong. Don't mind me. I'm trying. Okay, I'm trying. My Russian is awful. I recognize it. So I don't know if it would be based off of the Dendro Archon specifically, but I do think that there's just connections between them in terms of like how they operate. I do think that there's connections there. Hang on. DXP, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate that. Isn't every Catherine a different individual? Not necessarily. It doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it. I mean, they all basically talk to us exactly the same. They don't seem to have independent memories. They all seem to be very, very similar. Tante, thank you for your super chat, man. Hello, I just wanted to say your voice is soothing and relaxing. Bye. Well, thank you. We'll need an army of Catherines for war. Have any of you played Drakengard 3? Because this is the other thing that Catherine reminds me of. Yeah, hive mind. But that's why I say she might be just one person. So I just had a thought. Actually, you guys know how I was numbering the Harbingers and we talked about Sandrone at the end and how that they're supposed to be based off of a puppet? Well, I wanted to point out, because I didn't do it in the video and I feel kind of dumb about it, but I wanted to point out that the genders of the unreleased Harbingers might not all be perfectly representational about who they were in the Commedia. And there are things like Arlecchino does have a female version called Arlecchina. So, like, a lot of that is interchangeable. And I'm sitting here wondering, like, piloting robots from a distance, marionettes. I've just realized that if Sandrone is a female, it's very possible that Catherine is Sandrone, which would be weird. I don't think I can actually make a very strong case for it, but that would be fascinating. Okay, but no, so the whole Drakengard thing, right? The reason I was bringing it up... The reason I brought Drakengard 3 up specifically is because in Drakengard 3, I won't give you spoilers for the actual story, I promise. There's like this, if you get all of the endings, at each ending, you'll see this girl with a briefcase who's like half robotic. She's basically just a robot. And she calls herself the Recorder, I think that's what they call her. Or the Archiver or something like that, I forget. I think it's the Recorder. And then at the end of all of the endings, because you have to get like 20 endings or so to unlock like the final ending, you actually get a scene where you find out that she isn't just a one she is like a legion of she's, and like 500 of them show up all at once in one area, and they're just like all communicating with each other, but they're all identical. They're like an identical army of robots, and it's just bizarre. But that's what Catherine reminds me of. It has no actual real bearing on the story, so I don't feel bad saying it here. Anyway. Hey! Wait, there are 3 of you? Why? That's silly. Come back here. Okay. Give me the syrup. Give me sweet, sweet nectar. That would just be so funny, though. It's so funny. Oh, my God. DXP, what do you think the eyes on the sword in Kazua's story quest trailer represent? Forgot to message. Oh, jeez. Sorry. Okay, so here's... Let's warp back up to the omnipresent god for a second. So, I don't know how many of you know about some of the Raiden Gokuden lore, but the Raiden Gokuden is a series of 5 swordsmithing schools. Each of them have like their own kind of methodologies and styles and everything. And the Ishin art specifically is the one that belonged to Kazuha's family. And Makoto's sword is called the Muso Ishin. And since the Raiden Gokuden was supposed to be, like, founded by the Raiden twins, it's very possible that they've based some of their forging principles on their own weaponry. So in this case, Muso Ishin might have been the foundational sword that inspired the Ishin school, right? And since Kazuha is from the Ishin school, that's his family's tradition, it's possible he's creating an Ishin blade, which is why it has a very similar blade to both the Harankapaku Futsu, which is Ayato's sword, that is also an Ishin school sword. And it also has a lot of similarities to the eye on the omnipresent god statue, which I think is kind of interesting. So I think that's where the eyes are from. I think that's kind of what it's referencing. in case you're wondering. Yeah. And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I do think it's interesting that they're going to make him start forging swords again. Especially in light of the Iridori festival and the foreshadowing they had with him and Scaramouche, and the fact that Scaramouche got revenge on like half of the swordsmithing schools. And the fact that, you know, I really want Scaramouche to end up being playable as a Claymore user, because I really want to give him the Amenoma Claymore, the Katsuragi Kiri, because it's supposed to be the blade that killed his best friend, or his, you know, friend Katsuragi. I really wanted to be a Claymore so I can give him that sword. But anyway, yeah. Okay, I was gonna do my thing. Anyway. Do you still think Scaramouche will appear in Kazua's story quest? No. However, I do think we'll be getting a lot of information pertaining to him. Like, I don't think he'll make an appearance. Maybe in a flashback. I do think we'll get some information pertaining to him for the reasons I already stated. All about the Ishin school and the Raiden Gokuden, and Kazuha kind of coming into his own on that.
This is order.
For that reason, I think we'll see some stuff regarding him. But I don't think we'll see him. Did I not crit? Or did I just not hit him because of this stupid tree? I didn't hit him because of this stupid tree. That's annoying. Oh, there's still more of you. Well, alright. Wait, what? I get stuck on a ledge? Come on! That's stupid. I get stuck on a ledge. I'm a Mew Mew. Mew 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 Mew! Okay, sorry. When am I starting my ASMR channel? I'm not making an ASMR channel. I hate I hate ASMR. It makes me so uncomfortable. It's like that, not uncomfortable like in like ew gross. It's that uncomfortable as in like nails on a chalkboard uncomfortable. I hate it. I hate it so much. Yes, Calamity Queller Shao. Yes, I'm running Calamity Queller. I like Calamity Queller Shao. I've tried running him on the Jadewing Spear. I don't like it. I know I crit more often, but I don't like it. And besides, this looks so much cooler on him. Also, Bosacious. And yes, I promise the Yaksha video is still coming out. Like I said, I've been working on trying to figure out how to outsource certain aspects of my editing process so I can increase production. So I've been kind of taking some extra time on that to see how to get things to flow smoothly there. And if they can flow smoothly, and what it would actually take, what adjustments needing. And so that's been taking a bit of my time, and that's why I'm a little behind. But I am currently working on the Yaksha video. So that is coming. That is coming. Regal Seagull. I am not a free-to-play player. I am a BP Welkin player, though. Who do I think will be the first character to die? Lady... Senora already died, man. Okay, that was mean. Like, playable character? Honestly, I feel like Lisa is the one that's most likely to die apart from an Archon. I low-key think that Kusanali could die. I don't think she'd stay dead. I have this weird feeling that no one in this game is actually ever going to stay dead. But that's like a separate thing altogether. What's the relation between Sumeru and Indian culture? Not as much as you'd think. On the desert region of Sumeru. Listen. Slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. I said this earlier. Sumeru is basically covering everything south of China on the map. Like, legitimately everything south of China on the map. The reason I say that is because we have references to all sorts of things from, you know, Indonesia, Philippines, India, Egypt, Persia, Iran. Well, that still is technically Persia, I guess. Persian Empire. We've got references to the Kush Empire. Not empire, but, like, you know, anyway. You get what I mean, right? There's even references to Greece. Like, we're talking a massive amount of influences in Sumeru. Like, a massive amount of influences. And that worries me a bit. Because, like, sometimes when you mix too many things, you just get something that doesn't work well. So that's going to be an incredible challenge for them to do something positive with, I think. Do you find the secret tunnel to Sumeru from the chasm? It's not really secret. I don't know if I'd call it secret. Old Persian Empire. I mean, yes, but Old Persian Empire, but bigger. A much bigger version of the Persian Empire. Much bigger. Much bigger. I mean, on the one hand, I'm glad they're approaching diversity, but since we're on the topic of diversity, I want to touch on a couple of things. Specifically regarding skin tone. I'm not going to vent my grievances. Because I think my opinion on what they should or shouldn't do is a little irrelevant at this point. I do think it's a little irrelevant for me at this point. But I want people to brace themselves if you haven't seen the designs so far. I want you guys to brace yourselves for the fact that we may not be getting as much melanin as we were originally hoping for. And I understand that a lot of people on Twitter and Reddit and everywhere else have been very polarized on this. Some people are saying that, you know, oh, we need more representation, we need more darker skin tones in the game, and I 100% agree with that. But on the other hand, there is a lot of people who are talking about how all of this complaining about potential lack of skin tone variety is basically ignoring the fact that, oh, there are pale-skinned Arab people, there are pale-skinned people from India, there are, you know, like, they're saying, well, you know, like, we exist, and if you say that we don't exist, then you're being racist. And I feel like there's a fundamental misunderstanding and a miscommunication across the whole fandom right now about what the actual issue is, what the complaint is, and what the problem actually is. Because I am the first person to admit that, you know, I'm American, and when I don't see variance in skin tones, it makes me raise an eyebrow, because of just it's a very American response. Just because of our own history and the way that we sort of try to push diversity. And I won't try to push that view on other people. My own personal disappointment with the region is on this topic specifically is that Sumeru is the first open opportunity that MiHoYo has given themselves to really go ham with giving us more skin tone diversity, and not just... And I'm talking, like, even just in general. Like, if you're gonna make all of your characters pale, you can make them different shades of pale. My problem with MiHoYo's representation in different types of skin tones and variations is that even looking at these 4 characters right now, who are very different and from 3 different countries, well, 4 technically, but this guy, they all have the exact same shade of pale. If you're going to make all of your characters pale, like, you can make them different shades of pale. you know? Like, but they don't even do that. So it's kind of frustrating to see them not try to do that with a region that is so culturally diverse. And I don't necessarily think it has to do anything with the fact that, oh, you know, we're going to have Middle Eastern inspired stuff, so we should definitely have brown skin. It's not that. It's just that you're basically setting yourself up to have a perfect melting pot of cultures, right? With all different skin tones, all different religions, all different styles of clothing and architecture and everything else. And they're not going for it. You know what I mean? That's the part, I think that's the discussion we need to have. It's not really about whether or not something is racist or, you know, skin tone erasure or colorism or whatever you want to call it. I don't think that's the discussion we need to have. I think we need to have a discussion about diversity and uniqueness in design, just in general, and when you can really make use of those opportunities. Like, this is probably the most skin diverse team I can make, because I've got Kazuha, which is the traditional level of pale. Bennett actually has a slightly darker pale skin tone, and he's one of the only pale characters to have it. And it's only very slight. Like, you can barely tell in this that these two are different, but Bennett is different. I've checked. Kaya is obviously the one with the most melanin here, which is funny because he's supposed to be from a nation where everyone's supposed to be really pale, which confuses me, but I'm not going to question it. It's fine. I'm cool with it. And then Rosaria has almost blue-gray skin, because I'm fairly convinced at this point that she's supposed to reference a vampire. Like, this is the most diverse team I can make from skin tone, which is weird. These are literally every skin tone in the game. And I think that's so strange, because even if you make all characters pale, there are still variations in the color pale. Right? And that's the part that doesn't sit well with me. And I just want everyone to kind of brace themselves. No, Xinyan has the same skin tone as Kaya. I'm not saying that she doesn't exist or anything. I'm just saying that she has the same skin tone as Kaya in game.
Let's jam.
Let's put them side by side. They have the same skin tone, right? So, like, when I talk about making a diverse team, as far as like paleness goes,
What's that?
maybe this is more representational,
For a walk?
because Ayato is actually slightly more pale than Bennett. I'm just saying this is like the full spectrum of what we have, right? I'm not saying that these are all of the colored characters that we have. Like, I'm not saying this is all of the colors of characters that we... Wait, that's not right. I am saying this is all of the colors of characters that we have. Because we've got... and actually, let's... If we put them in terms of, like, shades, this is our darkest shade, this is our next darkest shade, this is our off-color pale, and then this is our pale. So this is a cross-section of every skin tone that MiHoYo has. And I personally think they can do a whole lot better than just 4 skin tones, because Rosaria's is actually unique. No one else has it. Right? We have pale, we have slightly tan, we have vampire, and we have melanin. And that's basically it. So I feel like that's the discussion we have to have. Because I feel like if we talk about it in terms of race, we kind of miss the point, because no matter what race you are, there's so much variations in skin tone, just in general. Like, even in my own family, which, by the way, is a very white American family, for full disclosure, my grandfather has, like, darker skin than Kaya. And I'm pale as fuck. Right? So, like, even within my family, like, it's all the same blood, right? It's the same, literally the same race, and it's the same everything between me and my grandfather. Like, Kaya is slightly lighter skinned than my grandfather, and my grandfather is French Canadian. So, like, I don't even think you can talk about it in terms of race. It just has to be in terms of diversity in skin tone in general. And I feel like we just need to start seizing the opportunities to do that in general, right? So I want people to brace themselves for the shitstorm that will come on Twitter and Reddit and YouTube comments and everywhere else when we get to Sumeru and we don't have a lot of variation. Because that's gonna happen. Yeah, no, my heritage is French and Lithuanian. I am French and Lithuanian. I'm pretty white as far as like the soul definition of it goes. What am I doing? I wanna accept the bounty. Give me the bounty. So just brace yourself, guys. Just brace yourself for that. I don't know how many of you will have how many of you it will bother. I don't know how many of you will feel really strongly about it, but I just wanted to bring it up because I do think it's an important discussion to have. And yeah, I mean, like, Twitter is a mess. Twitter is an absolute mess. Twitter is just kind of ridiculous in general. Wait, where's my bounty? Am I blind? Did I not accept my bounty? Where is my bounty? Give me my bounty. Give me my bounty. Give me my bounty. Sheesh. Anyway. Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. Because I do think that's something I want to see more of. You know, even as a character designer, because like I don't know how many of you remember this or know this, but my background is actually in comics. But even doing character designs and such, like just being able to have a wide variety of design opportunities, you know? Just being able to have a wide opportunity of this to okay. He always goes somewhere. He's always a pain in the butt. For me, it was always important that the characters were really distinct, and I'd always thought that skin tone was such a great tool to use to, you know, make more distinct characters, even at a glance, you know? Like, even if someone has a very similar hairstyle or similar clothing, like, if you can even just change their skin tone a little bit, it just makes them that much more unique and that much more distinct. And I've always really loved being able to do that. So it bothers me when I see people creating content and it's just not a tool that they're using. I'm like, it's like trying to build a house, but instead of getting an electric drill to screw in all of your screws, you're just using a hand screwdriver instead. And I'm just sitting there going, just use the drill! Please! And they won't do it. It's that kind of thing. Anyway, I'm done. That's my rant. 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 I don't have anything else to say on that. Yeah, the same goes for, you know, the body types I'm almost a little bit more forgiving of. On some level, but we have some really cool NPC body types that I'm confused as why they won't use. Like, Ito makes sense to me at some level, the reason why he's this body type in particular. And for me, it's because he embodies the energy of a teenager. And they're kind of lanky, noodly, and that kind of stuff. So for Ito, it doesn't bother me that much, but if they so much as give me Varka and he looks like Ito, I'm gonna scream. Right? I'm actually gonna scream. Like legit. Yeah. I mean, Ito isn't not buff, but he's not bulky. Right? He's not bulky. Okay, I do ask that people don't spam the questions in the chat, but I will answer this one. It says Kusanali Devi literally means Indian goddess, so I immediately thought her to be brown. What do you think about her tone? Listen, this is the reason I'm having this discussion. Like, I want you guys to be prepared. Kusanali has no cultural references in her. Well, she has one, but it's not obvious. And it doesn't, I don't know that Devi necessarily means Indian goddess. It means Hindu. It's a Hindu reference, right? And Hindu and Buddhism are closely linked. So, I mean, you could even go that far if you really wanted to. But the reference that Kusanali has in her design has 0% of any sort of recognizable cultural inspiration. There is nothing. And I mean nothing. And I've looked quite heavily at her model, which I have seen, which I will not disclose or encourage that anyone else go look at. But what I will say is that her design and her model, I think, is supposed to be referencing Genshin's version of ancient Greece, which appears to be the primary inspiration for the original or unified civilization. So be prepared for the fact that she doesn't reference any of the cultures that Sumeru is technically based off of, except I think she might be referencing Genshin Greece. That's basically all I have to say on that. Just prepare yourself for it. As I don't want anyone to be shocked by it. It's... Hi.
Charge! Moments of birth. Attaboy!
Oh. Big guy. I don't know if I've actually ever been here. Have I?
Can't catch
You
me.
come back here. Oh. I don't want to go swimming. I do not want to swim, but I would like all of your stuff. Underwater. Oh, see, I knew I'd never been here. Look, I got a chest. Yay! Yeah. So there's that. There's that. Oh, yeah, okay. I don't know how many of you guys were actually here for my Shinobu summons. But I have to disclose something. I think Ito really likes me. Cause so I had oh my god. I had 22, I think I had about 22,000 Primo Gems that I was willing to spend on Shinobu, and I was expecting to go to Pity. I was expecting to go to Pity and then go halfway to Pity. So what happened was I got Ito C1. I won my 50-50. And I got his C1 right away at about 76, I think. And I got like one Shinobu in that time. And then after, or I think I got maybe, I think I got two Shinobus. I think I got her C1. I got her C1 going for the first Ito constellation. And then I thought about it later, and I had literally 7,800 Primos left or something along those lines. About 7,000. And I'm like, you know what? I'm probably not going to make it all the way to Pity. I probably won't win my 50-50 anyway. I'll get either a C4 Gene, which I really want, or maybe I can finally get a Dilute because I don't have him. So I thought I'd just go ahead and bite the bullet and just throw the 7,000 at it. He came home twice in 7,000 Primos. I won 3 50-50s in a row. And I have the same constellation Shinobu as I do Ito now. And I can't go any further because I am quite literally at 60. Like 62 or something, Pity. And if I go any further, I'm afraid I'm going to end up with a C4. So I wasn't streaming during the time, though. That's the thing. Oh, I have like no Primos right now because I've been sniping for Shinobu cons. And I like I said, I got 2 more Shinobu cons off stream. And I'm too close to the 75 to get to want to snipe anymore, even though I really, really want her C4. So, yeah. So this is my accidental C3. I was not intending for this. I was going to be surprised if I even got C1. So that's, yeah. Anyway. Yep. Yep. So, oh, I also have a, he's also triple crowned. This is a level 13 Ushi, in case that's, yeah. I can show you what his damage is like if you want to see it, though. I'm happy to do that. John Lillis, thanks for the super chat. For the memes, is everyone ready for second anniversary? Hoyo seems to have prepared the fallen paper doll emote for the event. You know, as far as I'm concerned, Lantern Rite is Genshin's anniversary. The one thing that I think is most helpful to people who are low spenders, who may want to buy things in the shop, is that the shop gets reset, so you get the bonuses back, the top-up bonuses. But they, you know, at the end, they actually did give us a considerable amount for the anniversary. It just didn't feel like it, right? I think they've learned a lot from it. I don't think we should expect it to be more generous than a Lantern Rite, but I do think it'll be more generous than last year's. Although I still want people to curb their expectations and not expect to get a free 5-star. I do think a free 4-star may be on the table. I think that's a possibility. But that's my thing. Tante, I swear to God, every time I open streams and listen to them, I get a headache from so much noises and sounds, but your stream is different. Zero headache, and I can actually sleep while listening to it.
That's right.
Well, thank you for the super chat, and thank you for the compliment. I'm a little mixed on people sleeping to my stream, because it means that I put you to sleep, but at the same time, I guess that's nice. But yeah, variety's good. Sometimes hyper streamers are really great to watch because they get you excited and they're fun and they're engaging. And then sometimes you just kind of want to chill and do your dishes. That's me. I want to chill and do my dishes. But yeah, thank you so much for your super chat, man. I really appreciate it. Like, what is AED? What is AED? Is that that's not Australian? The thing is I don't know how some of these currencies convert. But that still feels like a lot. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But wow. And yeah. Yeah, I don't know my conversion rates very well, so I apologize. Temperus, thank you for your super chat. Off topic, do you support the theory that Baiju could be the original god of the woods? No, I don't. However, I think he ate one. I'll go into that in detail later. Yeah. We'll talk about that later. Oh, Tante's back again with another super chat. Thank you. Sorry, I don't mean to be weird. Don't worry. I just love your voice. Also, I'm a girl, so don't be afraid. It's okay, even if you're not. I'm not afraid of nice people. There's no need to be afraid of nice people. And you are nice people. I appreciate it so much. Thank you very, very, very much, man. Jackson Forgan. Fulguron. Oh, I tried. Don't worry, it took me to C2 Ito back-to-back to get my girl Kuki. Don't mind because I love the Ito. He's the one and only. Exactly! If it was gonna happen to me on any banner, I'm glad it was this one. And not another Toma situation with the Hutao banner. Oh boy. Yeah. Corey Yuri, currently on a 10 streak for 50-50 character wins. Have not lost since 2.3, but I also got 2 Memory of Dust trying to get Redhorn, so wins and losses. I feel that. I had to epitomize Redhorn too when I got it the first time round. I got a Skyward Harp and a Lost Prayer, I think. Or Skyward Atlas. I forget. I got one of the two. I have like an R3 Atlas at this point. It's ridiculous. Yeah. But thanks for the super chat. Congrats on your pulls, man. I hope that streak continues for you. Baizu ate a what? Yeah, okay, listen. We're gonna do a little mini Ito thing and then we'll talk about Baizu, okay?
Stand with me.
Fall in. Press the advantage. Live. Oni coming through.
Uh-huh. Come back here. Hi.
Boy.
Did I miss? Oh my god, I missed. How do I miss it point blank? Come back here. I'm gonna have to do my whole rotation again. I'm so upset. That's hilarious, though.
Everyone on me. feel this ancient power.
Okay, come on. Give me my thing back.
Who wants some of this? Let's roll.
I don't even know what it said. He died. God damn it. Masanori, I'm angry with you. I'm so angry with you. Come back here. Did it say 137? Yeah, okay.
Charge! Rally! This
I probably shouldn't use Albedo. That probably doesn't help. Oh, you know what? I have to use Ushi first. And just so I can get my burst. There we go. Okay. We'll do... Can I, please? There we go. Alright, here goes.
everyone on me.
Our bond is strong.
Let's roll. Oh, coming through.
I know I'm doing it first. It's okay. There is a second option here in a second. Come back, come back, come back, come back. There we go.
Attaboy.
I didn't crit! No! No! Ah! We didn't crit!
Advance.
Why?
Rally.
Why do you hate me?
Who wants some of this?
Okay.
Can't catch
I
me.
shouldn't attack him.
Let's roll.
124. That's probably because I'm missing Cookie's buff. That's okay. Yeah, so like 120, 130. In the Abyss, it goes up to about... I think my record in the Abyss is 198. I can go a lot higher with Bennett for sure, but Shinobu is so much more comfortable to play. Do I have Goro cons now? Dude, I have like a C15 Goro, like legit. But I had a C6 Goro on Ito's banner, so there's that, yeah. Are you working on the video about how Kuki isn't trash? Yes, it's with my editor right now. It is with my editor right now. Shinobu's really interesting because she's actually more like a swirl unit than she is an electro unit. And I think that's why people think she's trash. Is because electro reactions aren't used that much. And you have to build her like a swirl unit, and no one really wants to build her like a swirl unit because she's an electro unit, so she feels weird that way. Is Goro healing worth it? Not really. I wouldn't say it is. Oh, hey, Jesus, hang on. Gwen, thanks for the super chat. I have no idea what an IDR is, but thank you. Hey, glad to catch a stream. If the opportunity arises, please do stream more at these times. BT Dubs, do you think the current Dendro Archon is a reincarnation of the one who died? I've wondered about that. I've talked about Kusanali a little bit. That is one other option for her. That she's like a sapling sprout. One thing I've noticed is that in the teaser, for example, there are these really huge white flowers that you see a lot all over the place. And they look like Kusanali, in my opinion. They look just like Kusanali. So part of me wonders if that's the case, if she's almost like a Thumbelina. You know, like Thumbelina was like a little wingless fairy that was born from a flower. Like the flower opened up and there's this tiny little fairy the size of someone's thumb, so they named her Thumbelina. And I wonder if she's something like that, but if the flowers are sprouting off of like a giant tree that the Dendro Archon left when they died. I do wonder if that's a possibility. That is a thing. This is kind of what I mean when I say I don't think the form that we see her in as the child is her real form, or her true form, rather. It's just the form she has currently. But yeah, anyway. Is Goro's healing worth it? Listen, so Goro's healing is worth it if you're running Zhongli on Ito's team. The reason is because you kind of need, well, even then it's not really... The problem with Goro's healing is that you need to crystallize for it to happen. And if you want to crystallize, you need elemental application. And to have elemental application, it means you can't run 4GO. Unless you're facing elemental-based enemies. And, like, on the one hand, that's fine. you know? Yeah, I know her damage is pitiful. It's because she's running full elemental mastery right now. But I think mine at full defense runs like, oh, I don't know. I think he does like 1200 healing. So I think he can heal for like maybe a total of 4000 over the duration of his burst or something if he gets all the crystallized shards. So he's a nice additional healer if and when you can get the shards. It's just that more or less you're going to want to get the shards from the healer unit that you run anyway, because the healer unit's probably not going to be Geo. Because you shouldn't run Noelle here. That's silly. But I wouldn't put like a healing bonus circlet on him or anything. I'd keep him on a crit rate circlet just so he can run the Favonius bow. C4 is a nice quality of life con. It can help you out a lot. It pairs really nice with Shinobu. Shinobu and Goro have a weird amount of synergy. They actually work really well together. Because of her really large AoE on her pulses, she can consistently keep up Crystallize. Very consistently. And that helps Goro not only stay shielded, but it helps him keep getting the shards to extend his burst and to do the additional healing. Yeah, I know I could do charge attacks, I just don't want to. Wait, let's see. Problem is, I don't have any damage taken, so you can't actually see. Oh, this is the one thing. Busting Electro Shields is a pain. Yeah, he's not worth building for healing. I wouldn't do that. That's silly. That would be silly. All right, the Vaizu eating god thing. Yeah. Shall we go pay a visit to Shamaran? Ooh, we should do that. Maybe we should go do that. Let's pay a visit to Shamaran. Starlord16, thanks for the super chat. Since we know Kusanali became Archon just after the Cataclysm and the Statue of Seven represents her, is it possible that the statue was reworked? Much love. I mentioned this already. You can hear my thoughts in depth if you rewind the stream, but I think the statues update automatically. Because they're not human made. They should be divine, you know? And because they're divine stuff, I think that they'll just update automatically. Plus, the Traveler is, you know, collecting oculi and putting the oculi back into the statue and changing the way the statues look as a result. Why is Ito having so much trouble here? So, you know, we're changing the way the statues function and look, so I think it's pretty likely that they just update automatically to reflect the current Archon. How they determine who the current Archon is, though, is like a completely separate discussion altogether. The fun thing is, in these cases, I can actually just sit here with Shinobu. Providing they'll come down. Because electrocharge is fun. If you're wondering why I was using Goro, it's so that I can trigger Albedo's thing. Even from a distance when they're hovering. What an annoying little thing. Come back here. I don't know who's gonna use these little pollen powdery mushroom things, but I get the feeling someone from Sumeru will, and so we should have them on hand. All right, let's talk Shamaran. Let's talk Shamaran. I don't know if it's Shamaran or Zamaran, but I think it might be Zamaran. Let's talk. Jackson Forgeron. Do you for Kooky EM or HP? EM. Okay, actually no, that's not entirely true. For mono teams, if you run mono Electro or you run mono Geo, go full HP. If you run Taser, go full Elemental Mastery. So I'm doing actually a mixed build where I have Elemental Mastery on the cup and the clock, but I have an HP circlet, and that's because I have a lot of Elemental Mastery on the circlet, so it ends up working out. And I also don't have a Tenacity Elemental Mastery headpiece, so ends up working out. A build like this actually ends up giving her about 30,000 HP, which is really nice for her burst damage if you decide to level it, and it's also really nice for just her healing. And it's nice for when she's at lower HP because she can still take quite a bit of a hit. So I actually really like this mixed build. And I also run her on Iron Sting over Favonius because I think giving her crit stats is a waste of Elemental Mastery slots. If you happen to get Elemental Mastery pieces that have a lot of crit rate on it, that's great. Run Favonius if you really want to. I think Iron Sting is her best in slot weapon for the most part. As far as easy to access goes. I wouldn't run her with anything else. Unless you have, like, the Millennial, the Freedom Swarm. If you have Freedom Swarm and Kazuha doesn't want it, then put it on Shinobu. It's really good for her. Blue-White. Hi, just asking what you think about Hoyo's stance on the skin tone issue. Are they clueless about the issue or willingly ignorant due to local market? I talked about this at length, but to answer this question specifically without rehashing what I've already said before, I think as far as Hoyo versus stance on skin tone goes, I think that MiHoYo doesn't think that darker skin tones will sell well. So I think that darker skin tones tend to be on lower rarity units, and I think that they are going to be a lot more rare as a result. And I do think that has to do with the fact that they're a predominantly Chinese company, and I won't say what that says about their views. I just think that that says that they don't think it'll sell. Okay. So I just want to be very clear on that. I'm not going to try and put any sort of moral values on a company. I won't do that. But I do think that they don't think that darker skinned characters sell well. I wouldn't put Lion's Roar on Shinobu, and the reason is you have to build her as a DPS in order to make it work, which means you have to build her for burst damage. Because Lion's Roar increases damage against opponents affected by Pyro or Electro, but her damage comes from reactions, and I don't think that Lion's Roar actually boosts reaction damage. I don't think. It might, but I don't think it does. If it does, then Lion's Roar can be fine. If it doesn't, which I haven't tested, but I guess we could, we could test it. That wouldn't be hard to test. I would just go full EM. Like, she wants to be built for full elemental mastery. She wants to be the one triggering reactions at all times. Like, that's her thing. I wouldn't try to build her for, like, straight up electro damage. You'll be wasting so many stats. I wouldn't bother. Anyway, no, Baizu. I told you, I have the attention span of a gnat. Like, it's so... I have to talk about Baizu before I forget. Okay, so, this guy here. This is Zamoran. Alright? Zamoran is a mushroom. However, Zamoran shares a name with Shamaran. I'm probably saying it wrong, but I'm saying instead of X-A-M, it's S-H-A-M. That's the difference. Now, Shamaran in mythology has a lot to do with snakes. It was a snake god. And there's a myth around parts of Shamaran's body being eaten. And as a result, causing sickness or curing sickness or, you know, things like that. And since Baizu has this, like, persistent medical condition that he can't seem to shake, but he seems to be fine otherwise. Like, he can walk around, he can travel, he can do all this kind of stuff. I've been wondering if he's cursed to a degree. And it's not so much a sickness, but like he's had like radiation poisoning almost, right? Like he's ingested parts of Shamaran or something like it. And considering that, you know, Changsheng, which is his little white snake around his neck, is a white snake, which has the connection to Shamaran as well, and her name means long-lived, I just wonder if Baizu's whole thing is that he was trying to extend his lifespan by eating the flesh of a god or something similar and ended up cursing himself. So that's my thoughts on Baizu eating a god. I think he might have eaten a bad shroom. Anyway. Alright, I think my Shinobu with this build does 7,000 something. Does like 7,000 something for reaction damage. So I just want to really quickly check versus this Hydro Slime. 59, 59, 59, okay. 5,900, so it's not doing nearly as much as an Elemental Mastery build does. Hang on. But just for a baseline test, let's swap her over to Rancor, which I know is a physical damage weapon, but it just means that she's not getting the damage % bonus, and she's not getting the Elemental Mastery from Iron Sting. So I want to just test. Okay, little Hydro Slime buddy. Wait, where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Okay, 5977. Yeah, see, Lion's Roar doesn't actually do anything for your reaction damage. And basically all of Shinobu's damage is reaction damage. All of it. Every single piece. So build her full Elemental Mastery, give her Elemental Mastery stats, give her an Elemental Mastery weapon, craft her an Iron Sting. You don't need refines on it. I have refines on it because I had so many friggin' prototypes I didn't know what to do with them, so I just made a bunch. Yeah, so don't give her Lion's Roar unless you actually want to try building DPS Shinobu for burst damage. Even then, it's not worth it. The highest I've seen her per tick burst go is about 15,000 per tick. And that takes a lot of investment in a Mona and a Bennett, and it's just like, don't do it. It's not worth it. She's actually really cheap to build and really effective to build if you don't try to run her like a normal Electro unit, but if you build her like a Swirl unit, so... I don't have Dark Iron Sword. I'm a day 1 player and I foddered it because I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know it was like a good thing. So I don't have it. Anyway. But yeah, that's a really good sword to run on her too if you have it. Do I watch theory crafting stuff from KQM or 1010? I do. I don't always agree with some of the stuff that they say because I feel like a lot of them forget that not all players are at the same skill level. And I don't think they account for that. You know, like, I feel like ease of use and versatility in units and cheapness to build and things like that are just never really taken into consideration for most theory crafters. And so I'm not... I feel like it's important to watch that kind of content and consume that kind of content with a bit of salt, because essentially what they're doing is they're doing math for you, but they can't make decisions for you, right? They can't tell you what's best for your account because they don't know how you play, right? Like, they could say, oh, Yoimiya is so much better than Yanfei, right? And she is in terms of damage. Like, she has way more damage than Yanfei does. But the thing is, for me, I don't like Yoimiya because I prefer Yanfei's playstyle. It has nothing to do with the character, it's just like, I greatly prefer Yanfei's playstyle. So they can't make that decision for me, you know what I mean? So even though they say, well, don't use Yanfei, she's not good, she's not worth it, your damage is subpar. It's like, I don't care, she's fun to play. And her damage is fine, you know? It's things like that. So you just have to be careful when consuming that content. So I don't consume it, how do I say? I don't use guides as a guide.
Can't catch me.
I don't use guides as a guide. It's good to use guides to get a feel for how the game works, how the mechanics work, and how building teams work, rotations, and that kind of stuff, so you can kind of learn about what it means to optimize. But at some level, you just have to recognize that everyone has different playstyles. Like, I hate bow characters. I don't like using bow characters as DPS units. I don't mind them as supports. They're fine as supports, right? But if a character has a bow, it's immediately less appealing to me than a catalyst, for example. But a lot of people are the opposite. A lot of people love catalysts and hate bow, or and love bow units. They just can't stand catalysts. So yeah, things to keep in mind. Am I out of Sumeru? I'm not really out of Sumeru stuff. I just might be out of energy to talk about Sumeru stuff. I don't know who's gonna use these, but someone's gonna use them. I'm gonna collect them all. Because it might be a unit I want, who knows? I actually, honest to God, I don't know. I'm just saying it might be somebody. It might not be, and I'll just be ended up with a bunch of, like, shroom powder. Which will be kind of funny, too. Yeah. Dark Crow, I don't know if you talked about it, but are you getting the Deluxe skin even if you don't have him? I don't know. Like, okay, low-key, I have enough Primo Gems that I could potentially, on stream, do a 10 pull and hit my 50-50 right now. I could do that. That is a thing. And I could try to get a Diluc, but I'm so terrified that it's gonna be another Ito. But, like, I don't know. I think the skin is supposed to be like $40 though. And spending $40 on a character that I don't have feels really weird. So I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I mean, like, I've got 6 weeks to think about it. But the problem is I'm not pulling probably for a long time. Like, if all the information we have is correct right now, I'm not pulling until 3.2. So, I don't know. What am I most excited about that you're expecting to see in Sumeru? Traveler lore and Conria lore. More than anything. I really love forests, like deep forested areas. It's always been one of my gripes with Mondstadt is that I live in a very forested state. I spend like a good portion of every single day in the woods because that's where I walk my dogs. And I'm talking like straight up woods. I have seen a bear in person before. In the woods. So like I live in the middle of nowhere. So it's always been my gripe with Mondstadt that Mondstadt doesn't feel like a forest. So I'm really excited to see Sumeru have more foresty elements, even if it's a rainforest and not a deciduous forest like the ones that I really want to see. I would really love to see one, but... I saw someone say cheap to build in question mark to Shinobu, and if you're confused about why I say that they're cheap to build, it's because you really only need to level her skill for her healing, and you only need to level her level to 90, and that's it. You don't have to level her burst, you don't have to level her normals, and her artifacts are really cheap because she honestly doesn't care about substats, and the substats that she does care about, no one else really wants. So it's a lot cheaper to build her. Because, like, if you get all Elemental Mastery main stats, for example, you don't need to care. You don't even care what the subs are. So you don't have to keep re-rolling. So that's a lot less resin spent, right? That's what I mean when I say she's cheap to build. Plus, her best, easy to access weapon is craftable. And you don't need refines on it. So that's what I mean when I say that. Just to clarify. Do you think we'll stand on top of the big leaves in the teaser? Do you mean like the lily pads? Because if it's a lily pads, then yes, I do. That'd be really cool, too. I think it'd be really cool. Oh, the domains. Yeah.
Charge! Live! Feel this ancient power.
So I think Fischl is kind of interesting. Let's talk about Fischl for a minute. I'm gonna have to go soon, but I do want to talk about Fischl. So Fischl is interesting, because remember how I was talking about XPs earlier? For those of you who were here, Fischl to me actually looks like a cross between Durandal and Fallen Rosemary Rita. If you mix those two together, you would basically have Fischl. What's interesting is that Fischl's lore, like the Fischl we have, the one that we play, is actually just a girl named Amy. And she's not the real Princess Fischl. She's basically in a constant cosplay of the real Princess Fischl. So it'd be very interesting if we get to learn more about the real Prinzessin der Verurteilung, or however the heck you say her name. Because we don't know anything about the real one anyway. And I would love to learn more about her. So I would love for that to happen. I hope it does. I think that would be fantastic. I noticed that in Fischl's domain preview image thing, that she has this castle, but the castle has a completely cracked sky. Like the sky is just shattered like a mirror, which is really cool. Like really cool. So I'm hoping that we'll have some more of that. Mona's here again, and Mona and Fischl, the last time we saw them in an event together, it was Unreconciled Scars with Scaramouche, where we learned the sky was fake. So hopefully we're getting some new sky lore. I'm hoping that Mona's domain will give us some insight into her master, specifically, like her teacher. And I hope we learn more about Mona's background. I want Mona vision story. Like, I want to actually get some closure on Mona's vision, because it annoys the shit out of me. Whether she had, like, a vision given to her that was, like, a masterless vision, or if it was a Mondstadt vision, or if she awakened a vision, or if it was a Fontaine vision that she swapped the casing to a Mondstadt vision for. Like, whatever it is, I want some clarification. But I hope we get more astrology, like in-game astrology lore. There's nothing in here. I don't know why I'm in here. Not currently in any zone. Yeah, I'm not in any zone. That's true. It's true. It's true. I can't argue with that. There are people who love catalysts. Yeah, me. I love catalysts. Catalysts are great. Divian, thank you for the super chat. Here for the first time, but will surely stay as a part of your community. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I've got more videos planned. I don't stream that often, and I should stream a little bit more often, but don't run Primordial Jade Cutter on Shinobu, please. Oh my god. But also, yes, thank you, welcome. Always lovely to see a new face. Yeah, no, don't run Jade Cutter on Shinobu unless you want to run her as a DPS, like I said. Even then, I don't think it's her best weapon. Yes, it gives her HP, but it's giving her crit. And she doesn't need crit because reaction damage can't crit. So I don't recommend running it on her under basically any circumstances. You're better off just going for HP substats than trying to run Jade Cutter. It's not worth it. The only time I would say run it on her is if you want to run her as a DPS. You want to run her as like an on-field physical DPS. In that case, yes, run it on her because it will help her burst damage. But if you don't want to, you want to use her as a support, which is, I believe, the best way to run her, then don't run it. It's not good. I've already talked about Kazua's story quest, so I'm going to recommend, if you're new and you missed that part, to rewind the stream. As far as Heizo's gameplay goes, he looks fine. I'm really concerned about the level of knockback that he has. Heizo is weird. Like, he's a catalyst, but he's a melee catalyst. Sucrose can also be run as a melee catalyst, but she does still have some range, and she has grouping, not knockback. Heizo wants to be in really close range, but every one of his hits pushes enemies back. right? And he only has very poor grouping on his burst. Oh, hello.
Fall in.
Hello, little mushroom. You're not a mushroom. You're a plant. We're gonna get more of these in Inazuma, aren't we? We're gonna get like a plant-based plant. That'll be interesting. Oh, I never got this one. Interesting. Okay, well, we'll do that. Stop. Stop. Let me do the thing.
Let's roll.
Oh, he's dead. Okay. Okie dokie. Let's put on the right gear. Where's my crystal rock arm thingy? Hi. Oh, wait. No, right. I'm not supposed to have it on. Never mind. There. Okay. No, I haven't gone around and gotten all those.
Can't catch me.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine, guys. It's fine. Totally fine. Totally fine. But yeah, I'm really concerned about the amount of knockback he has and the complete lack of crowd control that he has. Like, I feel like he's almost going to need to be run with another Animo unit, or he's going to have to be run on freeze. And that kind of bothers me. I don't know how I feel about that specifically. But we'll see. It might not be as bad in practice. It might just be, you know, what they were showing us on the stream that looked a little sus. But yeah. Let us try to get you your D-Luke. It makes me sad when people actually really like D-Luke and don't have him, and people hate him, get him all the time. Yeah, but, like, that's me with Jean. She won't leave me alone, and at this point, if she shows up one more time, she's gonna end up being run on my Xiao team because she'll be C4, and I can justify it.
Come into being. Moments of birth.
Jean was my very first 5-star. I got her at 10 pity on the standard banner. And she hasn't left me alone since. But yeah, it's just going to be a long time before I can even think about getting D-Luke, because if I get D-Luke, then, well, I mean, like, if I want to get him, I have to summon. And the only way I'm going to summon, this is like such a weird thing. I still don't understand like what this thing is and where it comes from. Like, I know what it does. It just shoots light, but it's so strange. Isn't it weird? It's so weird. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, anyway. I don't know. So I could try for my last Shinobu, but like the problem is if I try for my last Shinobu here and I get a D-Luke, I mean, that would be great, but I'm so not confident that I'm going to lose my 50-50 because I just won 4 in a row. 3 in a row. Sorry. I just run 3 in a row. I just run 1 Ito 3 in a row, so I don't know if I want to do it. I'm so close. And my last 4-star was the Bell. So I probably won't get him until like version 3.2 at the very earliest, unless he decides to spook me on standard. You know. If you don't shoot, you'll never... Yeah, but I don't really want a C4 Ito. I don't... Okay, but like, think about it. There's only 3 characters that I could even remotely want by hitting pity. And that's, I'd be okay with C4 Ito. He's not ideal. I didn't really go into this wanting C4. Except at that point, I may as well just C6 him. And then D-Luke, obviously, I do want him. And then in C4 Jean, I'd be fine with getting because at least her C4 is useful to me. But everyone else is kind of a whiff. Chi-Chi's a whiff. Mona's a whiff. Kaching's a whiff. Like, they're all whiffs otherwise. And I mean, I guess I'd end up with a guarantee. But honestly, of those, C4 Ito is like almost the worst case scenario. So I don't know. Just do 5 singles. Kuki will come out. No, she won't. I'm at 0 on my 4-star pity. I think I have... Okay, I have 400 primos, and that's basically it from my sniping. All right. And I'm at like 60 something. Let's see. 2, 3. That's 60. 1, 2, 3. I'm at 63. Like, my odds of starting to get him are pretty, yeah. Anyway. Did I have a bunch saved? I saved 20,000 for this, and then I had like another 2,000 in Genesis crystals from the Welkins. And at the end of the banner that I did on stream, I pulled another 7,000, and I got 2 Ito in those 7,000. And then I've just been sniping with everything that I've gotten so far since then, so I don't have anything else. But it's okay, because, like, your pity's not wasted, right? So, I really want C4 Shinobu, though, so, like, it's not so much you guys doing it. It's not soft pity do it. Listen, he came out at 16 and 50 and 76. So, like, pity is a lie. She might be on a banner in Sumeru, but I don't want to pull in Sumeru unless it's somebody I really want. But I'll tell you what I'll do. I will single pull these 412 Primo gems that I have because I want Shinobu and I'm still okay with sniping single for that. Yeah, I did spend the 5 fates from the shop. I will do just the ones that I have Primo gems for, which is like basically 2 summons. And if Ito comes home, I am blaming all of you. I'm probably going to get 2 3-stars though, which is fine. So this is what? What did I say I was at 63? This is 64. Here's 65. This is the last one I can do. Yeah, so it's 2 3-stars. Yep. So I'm at 65. I'm at 65. And I don't really dare to keep going. If I did 1 10 pull, I would get something I probably don't want. So, yeah. So it's best to just leave the 50-50 for someone I want. You know. I have 5-star glitter, though. I'm not doing a star... No. What? I'm not going to pull standard. I'm wasting so many gems. It's silly. Nikita, thank you for your super chat. Any guesses on why no characters talk about Natlin? I'm gonna guess that Natlin is probably a closed country or also just really far away and no one travels. That's the best I can reason. I also have a sneaking suspicion. So you heard it here first. I think they might go the route where they make Vanessa the Pyro Archon. You know, from the comic. I legit think they might do that. Oh, this guy. Hey. Come back here. Look at her. She's stuck in the tent. Hi, lady. Why do you go into your mirror just to come out again? In the same spot. That's silly. That's silly. Give me all your things. All your things belong to me. I don't really need them, but I want them anyway. Okay, anyway. Yeah, she is also a bird. I don't know. I'm just thinking that they might go that route. Because her name, she's a Maratin, and she had like this whole thing where she was like part of Mondstadt, and she like gives the traveler a secret according to Travail, and I'm just thinking that sounds like something Vanessa would do. Go back to her homeland to rule it, but then she still has a connection to Mondstadt, but then she gives the traveler some help And I don't know. It sounds like something Vanessa could do. No, Murata wasn't in power when Vanessa did her stuff. Muratans are the name of the people or the tribe that Vanessa belonged to. So. We thought Vanessa is Deluxeburg because they're both hawks. Yeah. I mean, yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. I don't have an opinion on Sino yet. Like at all. All right, I have one more thing I'd like to do before we go, and that's to burn my resin. Where should I burn my resin? Because I probably should have done bosses today because it's Monday, and I forgot it was Monday, but I'll do them later this week. Where should I burn resin? I don't really need anything in particular, so I can honestly burn it wherever and it'll be fine. Oh, wait, no, I lied. That's not true. Hang on. What day is this? Mondays! Oh, never mind. We're going here. Oh, that sucks. I hate that domain. I hate that domain. But I need these. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
I charge a higher rate to meet outside the office.
You want me on your team?
Come with me.
Right? Yes? Yeah. That's this one. I only had 2 pulls to do, so I only did 2 pulls. I said I'd only use the Primo Gems I have on hand, and I only had 2 pulls with the Primo Gems. Yeah, Yanfei's pretty good in here. She's pretty good in here, actually. I don't even know what equipment I have on her right now. I've been messing around and I swapped a bunch of her stuff around. Melee Yanfei has been super fun to play, though. Like, really fun to play. Now that she can burst for her shield. Now that she can burst for her shield, she's just, like, really fun to mess with. Oh my god. I hate these things. I think I have her on Bullide. Do I? Is she running Bullide right now? I don't know. I'll check. I'll check. There will always be a VOD. All of my, every single one of my streams gets saved into a playlist on my channel. I do unlist them after a while, but there is a playlist on my channel that has every single one of my streams that I have ever done that you can watch back anytime you want to. Oh, she's on Witch. Oh, she's on Witch? Why is she on Witch? I'm on Lost Prayers and Witch. Okay, that's fine. How many years will it take for the Genshin story to end? Well, let's see. We've got 1 year for Sumeru, 1 for Fontaine, 1 for Natlan, and then 1 for Conria. We've probably got, like, at least another 4 years. No, I was talking about the robots from the current event. When I was talking about robots. We touched on those. Oh, there is some mechanical stuff that I did want to talk about in terms of okay.
Everybody stand back.
It's time to do the thing where we do that thing called rotations. Come down and die, please. There we go. No, so in the Sumeru teaser, there were like these really giant mechanical parts, which I thought were interesting because if you look at the markings on the side of those mechanical parts. Oh, I did forget Shneznaya. You're right. So 5 years. Whoopsie. That's funny. Most people forget Conria chapter, not Shneznaya. Ah, okay. Anyway. So I lost my train of thought again. What was I gonna say? I do not remember. Oh well. That happens. Doo-dee-doo-da-doo-dum, ba-dee-da-doo-da-doo-doo. No. Collapse. There. Oh, right. Giant robots in Sumeru. Thank you. Bye. Yeah, okay, right. Sorry. I got really sidetracked. Okay, so those giant robot parts are kind of similar to like those gigantic robot parts that we see in the chasm around the Robo-Snake. And I got to thinking that if you look on the sides of those parts and you look at the Robo-Snake, you'll notice that they have the same symbols as the Ruin Guards, which should make sense on some level, because the Ruin Guard is a Conrian thing, and the snake is a Conrian thing, and, you know, all these Conrian things. So many Conrian things.
Just a script. To ashes.
Yum, 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 yum. Come back here. So many Conrian things. But the thing on the side, those symbols that are on there, are very reminiscent of something known as the Masonic cipher. And I've been meaning to try and translate them, but I haven't. I've been meaning to. Not all of the things on there are Masonic ciphers, but a lot of them are. So I'm curious about what they say, and if they say anything, or if they're just random. But I do wonder if that just means we're going to be seeing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger robot enemies, or if it means that Sumeru is closer to Conria than other nations. I actually don't want to do that. Hang on. How many do I need? How many do I need? I only need 2. Well, that's fine. It's nice to have them on hand. Nice to have them on hand. Never know when you're going to need them. Cool. All right, let's 90 this stringless already. It's been sitting in my inventory for ages. Maybe one day I'll actually R5 it. Why did I close out of that? I wasn't done. I don't think that Conria was turned into a desert. They were already a pretty barren region to begin with. What else needed things? Oops. Was it this one? Nope. Well, I don't remember. What else was I even building? Was it this one? Nope. I was just 90ing my weapons because I could at one point. No, I was building a second sacrificial sword. But I don't remember what they need. No, they need the bracers too. What was I building then that needed the extra thingy? I thought I was building something else and it needed a thing. Was it a claymore? No, because this thing needed something else. I don't remember. Oh, I forgot I had a second one of these. Well, all right then. Okay, well, I don't remember, but if I need them, they're there. So that's cool. That's cool. Oh. Got our character story too. Cool. All right. Well, I think that's enough for today. Listen, the thing is, like, you gotta remember, you can only use a certain number of weapons at a time, right? Like, you can only have 4 characters on field. And there's never gonna be a situation where I need 2 of these Skyward Prides. Because I have a Wolf's Gravestone, and I have a Serpent Spine, and I have a White Blind, and I have all of these other weapons. So there's never going to be a situation where I'm going to need 2 of these. So it doesn't make sense not to refine it to me. Like, to build a second one seems silly and a waste of resources. And I mean, I can say the same for a lot of this stuff, honestly. Especially when it comes to my catalyst. My catalyst situation is ridiculous. Look at this. This is like my favorite pity breaker. There's never a situation where I'm going to need multiple of these because they're not that good to begin with. So you may as well just refine them and get a better number. But why would I want 1 Wolf's Gravestone per Abyss team? I don't know why I would want that, though. I could see getting, I could see not wanting to refine an Elegy just because it's a good support weapon, but, I could see that. But, like, my whole thing is, like, as the game goes on, I'm just gonna keep getting more 5-star weapons, and I'm just gonna keep getting more really good 4-star weapons. So why not promote variety on my account than to have multiples, you know? What was I looking at? I was looking for something. What was I looking for? Oh, someone was asking about Beto. Where the hell is she? Oh, there she is. This is my Beto. She's not that great.
If you ever want to...
And I actually think she's missing... Yeah, she doesn't actually even have the correct artifacts on right now. That's part of it. I was trying Fischl out, which is why she doesn't have the correct artifacts. Yeah, Fischl had all my Beto pieces in there. There we go. That's my Beto. She's not the best. Honestly, I think she's probably better with Skyward Pride than Wolf's Gravestone. I know she loses a lot of attack, but the extra energy recharge is really good. Emblem of Severed Fate is really good on her, but I don't feel like farming a 4th set of it. So I just don't bother. But yeah. On Shinobu, yeah, I have 4 tenacity on Shinobu. I have like 6 tenacity sets. She's running 4. So I've got flower. I need a better flower. But I was running this one because of the HP. Because I just don't have any HP on any of these. For some reason. Same with this one. I was running that one for HP too. I ended up getting this one. And then I have this Elemental Mastery clock and this helm. And like I said, none of these are particularly impressive, but like they do exactly what I need them to do for her. So what banner am I waiting for right now? Scaramouche. Seriously, like the next time I pull, it's probably going to be for Scaramouche. Legit, that's probably going to be the next time I summon. So I'm probably not going to be summoning until like several patches. For several patches. Well, because like my account has everything I need right now, right? Like I have like, hang on. Oh no, it is character archive. Like, okay.
A blade embraces
There we go.
its duty. As a
No! Stay in there! Stay put! Okay, here we go. I am missing a lot of characters. As you can see, I skip a lot of 5-star exclusives, and for some reason, Sarah hates me. Probably because I like Ito. It's fine. Yeah, so here's the thing. I have Geo DPS. I have Animo DPS. I have Hydro DPS. I have a Pyro DPS. And I have a Cryo DPS. Where the hell Kaya went? Down here. And then I've got multiple Electro supports, multiple Animo supports. I've got healers for every element now. I've got, like... And yeah, I know I have Hu Tao. I don't have her built, so I don't count her. I mean, I have my Kazuha. I have supports for all of them. I have good, solid teams for basically everyone. Shinobu was the one thing I was missing because I wanted a better tenacity healer than Chi-Chi, because Chi-Chi's not that good at it. So, Geo Xingqiu is just Albedo. Just saying. He's just Albedo. Like, even the damage output is the same if you have Cinnabar Spindle. But yeah, so... I just don't need anything else. So unless the character really speaks to me... I have a Cryo DPS. He's down here. It's Kaya. It's my man. And yeah, Dendro might change things, though, but, like, I'm gonna have Dendro Traveler. And so if they're gonna give me a good Dendro unit, it better be a unit I really like, because I'm not pulling for, like, a unit that I won't play and that I don't like the design of or anything like that, you know? Like, I won't play that. So we definitely will get Dendro Traveler, so I can experiment with Dendro stuff there. But, I mean, there's a good chance Colette is Dendro, and that she'll be given for free. And that's a prediction I've been saying for months, basically. And the reason is it just makes sense for them to give us a free Dendro unit in general. Because it is a new element and they're going to want to encourage people to use it. So I 100% think that Colette will be joining, like, the starter characters, like the 4 starters. So I think that's still going to be a thing. And if we do get a free Colette and she is Dendro, then I'll have zero need to pull for any other Dendro characters, providing that she has decent Dendro application. So... Even, yeah, well, anyway, I'm still holding out for the fact that I think this anniversary is the anniversary that they will adjust the shop to put different characters into the rotations and things like that. So, we'll see. Do I think Dottore will be replayable, or is he too irredeemable? I don't think redemption has anything to do with being able to be played. Honestly. The only thing that needs to be proven for a character to join the Traveler is that they have goals that are in alignment with each other. It doesn't mean that they have to be morally correct or above board or apologetic for things that they've done. And I don't think that they should be. I feel like problematic characters should be problematic because that's what makes them the character that they are. And if you take that away from them, then they're just boring. So... Anyway. Yeah. Yeah. The only free character they haven't given us is Animo, actually. Animo, the only free Animo we've ever gotten is the Traveler. So he doesn't really count. So we've got Pyro and Amber and Shangling, because if you get to floor 4 of the Abyss, you can get a free Shangling. That's an indefinite thing. Barbara is given for free due to an ongoing event that doesn't expire. So she is technically our free Hydro. We've got Lisa for free Electro, Kaya for free Cryo, and I said Amber. So that's the 4. And then Noelle you get guaranteed on your first 10 pull ever if you pull the beginner banner. So she's not like 100% free, but she's 100% easy to get and cheap, and you obviously should pull that banner because it's the best value for primos that you'll ever get. So that leaves just Animo and Dendro as elements that we've never gotten for free. So Animo Traveler you kind of have to get in order to progress the story. I guess you don't technically have to get Geo Traveler, or maybe you do, I don't know. But Dendro is yeah, Dendro's the one that we just don't have at all. So I feel like they will give us a free Dendro. I do. Do I think Hoyovos cares about the lore of the characters joining the Travelers team? I do, yeah. I think they think it's important that there's a reason why the characters join the Traveler or align with the Traveler or why they become summonable, but I don't think that they have to be good people in order for that to happen. Free Geo was Noelle. She's not free because you do have to pull for her, but she's 100% guaranteed on your first 10 pull, and your first 10 pull is like a discount. And you really should pull because there are no weapons that you can get on that banner, so it's your best chance of getting characters if you're just starting an account. Overload or Vape Yanfei? I think Overload's a lot easier to play, especially if you have C4, because you can play melee Yanfei. Which is really fun, but Vape will give you more damage overall, I think, but that might be not the case if you run Shinobu with her, because they will alternate on their ICDs and for overloads, but it's also a little hard to control them that way. Is Kaya my favorite character? He's one of them, yeah. He's like never coming out of my top 5 ever. But yeah, he's probably my favorite character right now. I think my favorite characters right now are Kaya, Shinobu, Yanfei, Beidou, Xiao, and Zhongli, Ito, Albedo. I basically pull from my favorites. Yeah. EM or hybrid for what? EM or hybrid for what? EM or hybrid for what? For Shinobu, you go full EM. For Yanfei, just go full... No, go full attack. She scales better. I don't like Raiden. No, I don't. That's not a secret, though. I've never really liked her. I mean, I think she had good character developments. I think she's a good character. She just doesn't appeal to me. That's a better way to put it. She doesn't appeal to me as a character. But I think she's an interesting character. Like, I don't hate her. She's just not high on my list. She's just a trope of a character that doesn't work well with me, that's all. And everyone likes different things, so that's fine. But I mean, like, I can see that she's falls into the same category for me as Eula and Ganyu and Ayaka. Not really Shenhe. Shenhe and Yoimiya are actually cases where I like the characters, but I don't like bow DPS gameplay, so I don't pull her. And then Shenhe, I just have no use for her kit. She doesn't run on teams that I think would be fun for me. And Kokomi's just never been at a good time when I would want to try and pull for her. And I can't say anything nice about Miko. I'm sorry. She's probably my least favorite playable character. And that's she's in the same category as Child. I don't hate hate Yelan. I've never hated Yelan. I think she has an interesting character. I got burned out on Yelan. Specifically because pre her release, she got so waifued and so stuck into the whole armpit thing that I just lost so much hype for her. You know what I mean? But I don't hate her. She's a cool character. I quite like her trope and everything. Secret agent kind of thing. She's neat. I just don't really like how... I just got burned out on her. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain. Yeah, too much fan service. But not even, like, from MiHoYo, but, like, from specifically the fans. Like, her jacket drives me crazy. Like, this, all I can see is Dodoko. All I can see is Dodoko, and I'm just like, I will never put her with Klee. I don't know if I'm excited for Sino. I mean, like, he looks like the kind of character I might like, but I don't know enough about him, and we just haven't seen much. So, hopefully, you know, we'll get there. So yeah, that's part of the reason I didn't pull for her. The other reason I didn't pull for her is I just didn't need her. I've already got a crowned Xingqiu, and I don't run a lot of vape teams, and I didn't really need her in general. Like, I don't have any problem clearing the Abyss, so she wasn't a must-pull for me, and also Shinobu was coming, and if I have to choose between Shinobu and Yelan, I'm gonna pick Shinobu 100% of the time, so... Sorry. But Shinobu is exactly the kind of character I really like. From design and everything else, so. And I know not everyone shares that opinion, and that's cool. I don't care. You guys can like what you like, man. Palm Top Tiger, thanks for the super chat. Free Dendro character makes sense because all new players can't access Sumeru right away. Thoughts? Yes. Also that. Also that. Also that. Like everyone has access to Mondstadt 100% of the time, because that's where you start. So you always have access to Animo Traveler. And to an extent, Geo Traveler, so if you skip Noelle, like, it's still okay. But there's not even, like, a 4-star Dendro character in the standard pool or anything. So, like, they have to release a 4-star Dendro character that they can give to people so that they have access to all of the elements in some way early on. So, 100%, that's why I think they're gonna give her out for free. Even, I'm gonna put this caveat here. Even if that free window is a short period of time, like during the 3.0 patch release. Like, maybe you can only get her for free during a limited time event during 3.0, and then after that, you can't get her. I still think they're going to offer her for free. And also note that the anniversary falls around 3.0, 3.1. Kind of hard to say exactly right now. But I do think getting a free 4-star for the anniversary is reasonable, and it would make sense if they decided to do that for like a 4-star Kalei kind of thing. So, Krish Deck, so I have a Eula and a Hu Tao as an OP DPS, but kind of confused if I should go for Kazuha or Yoimiya. Listen, you go for Kazuha if you want to support, you go for Yoimiya if you want a DPS. If you already have Hu Tao as a Pyro DPS, you don't need Yoimiya. You know? Sometimes it's just as easy as that. Oh, these notifications, why? Animalis, what are you most looking forward to with Sumeru and the Dendro element? How do you think it'll affect future characters' playstyles? Dendro is literally going to change basically everything because it's going to allow for triple element stuff. Like, okay. I already talked about it. Now, listen, if you want my thoughts on Dendro, watch my Shinobu video that's coming out. Because I talk a lot about... how Dendro is going to change things and what Shinobu's kind of forecasting and foreshadowing, for that matter, when it comes to Dendro, so... yeah. What do I think's the deal with Diluc's new skin, and why is he just child recolor? He's not child recolor. So, okay, if you don't know Diluc's story, as we scroll down to this sad grayed out thing here. Here's the thing about Diluc, okay? When he was 18, he lost his father. Prior to that, he was the cavalry captain in the Knights of Favonius, right? And he and Kaya were both part of the Knights. When his father died, the Knights refused to acknowledge the fact that his father was the one who got rid of a really big threat to Mondstadt that not even the Knights could deal with. And Diluc got so pissed that he left his vision behind and left Mondstadt. And he left Mondstadt for 4 years. And during that time, he went undercover and had a lot of run-ins with the Fatui, where he was basically like just being a cancerous cell to them. Like he would infiltrate their organization and then just wipe them all out. That was his whole thing. And then when that became too much for him to do alone, he joined an underground network, information network, right? So Diluc's new skin is actually the skin that, like the clothing that he was wearing during his 4 years when he wasn't in Mondstadt after he left, after his father died. So that's the deal with his thing. That's why he looks a bit like Child, because Child is wearing Snezhnayan clothing, and Diluc would have been undercover in Snezhnaya. So he wants to blend in a little bit. And before anyone says anything about blending in, well, he's wearing bright red. He's not blending in. But, like, think about what the Fatui themselves are wearing. Like, the Pyro gunner wears bright red clothes. So, like, he actually does blend right in when you really think about it, so... I don't think Kaya became the cavalry captain out of spite. I think he was just next in line. But anyway. Right, okay, not Snezhnaya clothing, it's Fatui clothing. I mean, that's fair, but the Fatui are Snezhnayan, so there is some overlap. Like, if you look at some of the people, like, the Snezhnayans that you do see, the NPCs, they're all wearing gray like Child. So you know that some of it carries over. Diluc's delusion got broken after, if you read the manga, after the Black Fire incident and Calais gets dealt with and everything, Diluc's delusion breaks in the process, and Dottore ends up with it. Although no one really knows what Dottore is doing with it. He doesn't look interested in it. He's like, what is this garbage? And then that's the last we see of that delusion, so we'll see. Waiting for me to talk about Sumeru, not its characters. Did you just get here? Because I was talking about Sumeru for a very, very long time. I would, you know, if you guys just got here, because this is the end of the stream for the most part, I'm gonna clock out here in a minute because it's way past lunchtime and I'm hungry and I want to go eat something. And also I'm out of things to do that don't require my brain power. So I'm gonna head out, but if you just got here, this will be a VOD. It goes on a playlist on my channel under my live streams. You'll be able to access it at any time. I highly recommend rewinding the stream to the beginning and just listening through, because I have covered a lot of topics about a lot of things. I think I covered everything that's on my checklist over here. Some things that weren't, we talked about Baizu, we talked about Kusanali, we talked about Sumeru's inspirations, we talked about potential plot points in Sumeru, we talk about... Oh, we didn't really get to talk much about Conry and stuff, but I did mention that there will be a lot of it, or at least that's my expectation. So if you're interested in any of that, I highly recommend rewinding and taking a look at that. Because it's food for thought. So, okay, next vids.
If the Arataki gang stirs
there
up
are
any
2
trouble,
videos that I have in the
drag
works right now. One of them is a video about Shinobu. It's more of a theory crafting video. It's not a lore video, but it's just one that I wanted to experiment with because it's the type of video that's easiest to outsource. And I wanted to experiment with outsourcing some of my editing work to other people to see if I can do that, which could help me increase output on videos on the channel. So that's the reason why we had a little bit of a gap between this last video and the next one. It's because I've been trying to figure out some of the logistics around that. Also, that was a very difficult video to write because I've never done one like that before. So that should be the next one coming out, and then after that is the Yaksha video, which is the one that I am personally currently working on by myself. And then after that, we're probably going to be going into 2.8 directly, and I will be making videos on Kazuha, likely, and Mona and Fischl and like the events in general. But providing that we don't get a lot of that information like right up front early, I will likely be trying to fix or to go through some of the videos in my backlog, and in 2.8 is when I want to do a proper Dendro Sumeru speculations video where everything is condensed into one little half-hour nugget. So that is the current plan. I have a lot of videos in my queue. It's just a matter of when I can get to them and how, and that's part of why I'm trying to outsource and figure out how that can work. So just bear with me during a transitional time. I also want to say thank you all to anyone who decided to become a member or who decided to donate through a super chat or anything like that, because like you guys are all absolutely incredible and amazing, and I wouldn't be here without you guys. Members, just a reminder, all of your support is actually going towards helping to fund editors and additional help and resources for the channel itself. It's not funds that go directly to me, so just know that your support as a member of the channel actually goes to building out the channel and not into my pocket. Because I'm using 100% of that for funding of channel growth. So just know that. Just know that. Everything everyone does supports this channel, but specifically members are supporting in that particular way. That's exactly where all of that money is going to, 100% of that allocation. So just want you guys to know that. And I hope to see all new members on Discord soon. I know it's still a bit of a work in progress. If you have channel recommendations or whatever, please feel free to, reach out to me, let me know, and I'll get you all situated. But anyway, thank you guys so much for showing up, for being here. I'm hiding behind a tree. You guys are great. I'm gonna go eat something because I'm hungry. And I need food in my stomach. So I'm sorry if I didn't get to your questions, but maybe next stream. I should do these more often, but I say that every stream and then I don't do it. Oh, Finny's barking in her sleep. I gotta go. Anyway, see you later, guys. Thanks for coming. Bye.